Welcome back to Dance's End, Session 8, entitled New Pathways. Last session, we ended in a downtime segment. Before we get to the end of that downtime portion, um, during the earliest portion of that downtime segment, the crew was awarded enough experience to level. The level that they are acquiring at this point is third level. In D&D 2024, the update to the 20 or the 5th edition rules, they have changed it so that all classes acquire their subclass at third level. The other thing that I've noticed about subclasses for me is not many players really incorporate their subclass into their story terribly deeply. More often than not, it is just access to cool features, abilities, functionality. The most prominent class that I feel kind of intertwines with their subclass in a narrative sense is Warlock. And I hate that because Warlocks are evil and witches are abominable, and I express a certain level of anti-witch bigotry that I feel is healthy. Um, JK, Warlocks are awesome, and
It's something.
Warlocks are awesome, and I do want to kind of look at subclasses in this new edition now that they've all been kind of put to an even field. I want to look at them a little bit differently than um, I normally would. Um, and with this group, they've chosen subclasses that I feel uh, grant themselves to a cool narrative beat. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to explore that a bit tonight. We'll start off easy though, since we just mentioned that most of this mentality does come from Warlock being kind of incorporated with their patron. We're going to explore Shifakli's patron, their Fey patron specifically, or rather Arya's Fey patron, more intently. With that, you, during your downtime, at one point or another, receive another dream, like you did before. The dream you had was very telling. There was definitely a change in the dichotomy, or rather the trichotomy, that was present when you last left the coven. And now you understand that you were set free to do as you please by a person that no longer exists. You can feel that power waning. In your dream, Granny tells you to come home. You do not know where home is. When you left, you did not track, you did not trace, you did not make pathways. You escaped the forest and you found solace in the shrine of Alawain. However long ago that was. I think it was a while ago, quite a while ago. But in your return, it's almost as if you have someone guiding you, moving you through the woods. You think about it at some points, like, am I supposed to be paying attention to the details, to the nuance, to what trees I'm passing, to see if I can't find my way back to this place? And if you would like to try and focus on that, you can make a wisdom saving throw. But if you do not care, and you are allowing yourself to be swept up by your patron, then that is also fine.
I think I would resist
A
at first.
measured amount of resistance. Go ahead and make your wisdom saving throw.
It's
Okay.
a 9.
Everything seems to be the same to you, and you cannot tell for certain what that means. You are effectively missing the trees for the forest. It all blurs together, and you know you are in the deepest and the darkest spaces of a forest as which you cannot discern. You see the water as you come alongside a stream passing through the forest that seems to be flowing one way, and as you think that this must be from the north to the south, as most streams in Carden do, the stream seems to revert direction the next time you glance at it, as if on a whim of some entity that's causing it to do so. Being arcanely trained, you are aware that the Coven holds a great amount of power within its tripartite nature, and with it being kind of pushed into one hand, the whims are now at Granny's disposal. You come before the house. You've been here before. Out in front of the house, there is a massive iron cauldron with what appear to be frogs' heads, mouths open, tongues wrapped around iron rings. There are broken skulls and bits all around the cauldron, fire burning underneath it. Greenish liquid boils within. A woman stands near the cauldron. In one hand, she holds a bone, which she breaks in half, and then casually starts tapping against the iron cauldron as the marrow spills out into the mix. She looks up at you and smiles. A smile that you know in your heart is not a joyous smile. More a smile of arrogance. More a smile of spite. And she says, Molly shouldn't have let you escape as she did. But as you are now indentured to folks in town, I suppose you think you're safe, don't you?
I don't think I ever pretended to think myself safe.
You've always
No.
been safe. You're one of us. By right. I made you clamp down upon it. The one you took over wasn't strong enough to suffice. And Molly's stupidity and her weakness was also a burden. Are you a burden? She says as she looks into the bone and then kind of just casually discards it into the bush. Or a boon?
I'm just an orc.
You're wrong. You're so wrong. I saw greatness in you when you came into this place so long ago with your allies. If you didn't stand out to me, do you think I would have let you sup upon power? At the butcher's table, even? How quickly you forget what you and your friends did. You destroyed a being of great power, of great structure. And you think you yourself nothing more than a lowly orc. You are a conduit. You are a part of this coven, and you will be until you die. Unfortunately, if it ever goes below 2, the power wanes greatly. I still believe in you. This may sound like I am simply saying this because I wish to maintain my power. You healthy. will not deceive you. In a sense, that's true. But you're no Molly. She was a coward. When your patriots, your first family, came here seeking to destroy us, I fought. Your predecessor fought. You fought us. Now you fight with me. If I die, you die.
Doesn't seem like I have much of a choice. I may not hunger for flesh the way that you have, but I hunger for life.
She casually walks over to a side table, grabs a stoneware bowl, walks over to the cauldron, dips the bowl in, and lifts up what looks like a grotesque mix of stew. She slams a wooden spoon into it and walks over to you and pushes it forward in front of you. Then eat.
What manner of potion is this?
Potion. No. This a meager concoction. She looks back at it. Swamp water, marrow of, well, unfortunately, displacer beasts has been the only thing I've been able to come upon of late. An amalgam of different serpents and worms. It is filled with potent primal magics.
Aria drinks.
It's good. It's really good.
And drinks.
If you die, I die. Do you understand?
Yes.
If I thought you nothing more than a lowly orc, I would not have placed this burden on you. But perhaps as nothing more than an orc, you can serve. She walks back over to the tables. You can see that she has quite a lot of stuff out and about. Some papers that look like they have gone kind of damp in the temperature here. The watery, kind of like humid presence here in the forest. And she
I
picks
want to
up.
approach.
Yeah. As you kind of come up to her, you see her pick up something off of the most cluttered table and walk over to you with it, holding it in her thumb and index finger. You can see that it is a massive eye, yellowish in color, with an iris that looks very hauntingly familiar to you. You know exactly what the eye would taste like if you were to put it to mouth. Like, it is an eye that looks very familiar, but you also recognize that it's not. It's Molly's, not Mary's.
Oh, Molly.
As I said, she was weak. You do understand that she was making pacts of her own, trying to sell us out?
I had no idea.
Of course not. The Archfey are present and abound, chasing after some girl in the woods. Lifts the pushes her hand forward with the eye to hand it to you.
What do you want me to do with this?
When you take it into your hand, you're surprised. You're expecting a texture that's squishy. You're expecting a texture that's fleshy. It feels like glass. In actuality, it feels more like hard candy. It feels like it's been completely congealed and solidified. This must be consumed. I do not have a individual that I feel is worthy, nor in my current state with your Omen Vigil still seeking me out, do I feel like I can go into this town and seek one to corrupt of my own. Though I do have an individual brewing on the outskirts of town, I do not think that she is worthy. She will serve, say, hmm. Uh, I'm trying to think of how to say, like, someone who will birth her children in a way that's
Oh, a
very.
surrogate?
No, 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 no. She wants to basically make it sound like that child and the mother are like cattle to her. Like, a.
Sow.
Yeah, that's good. What is it when you do it with a horse though? It's like a something mare,
Oh, like a breed mare?
breed mare. That's it. That's what I. That was the word I was looking
Ooh,
for.
yikes.
Yeah, that's what she refers to her as. Um,
Arya looks like viscerally disgusted.
what? So what? We need strength. We need protection. Did I not mention clearly an archfey is in these woods as we speak?
Okay, but who is it that you would seek out to be your broodmare?
No, no. I do not seek a broodmare. I have one already. I am trying to create a hag spawn. Not important to the matters at hand. What you need to worry about is who will serve in our number. Who can join us? I trust that you will be able to find someone worthy of this gift. You have tasted the power. You understand what it means to be a part of this coven. And in a sense, I am giving you a certain power over me. If you choose someone who is trustworthy to you, you two will outnumber me. You will be able to overpower me in all things, in all matters. But unfortunately, times are tough. And Molly was
Yeah.
weak.
Okay. I understand what I need to do. I I don't know that I have anyone in mind at this very moment, but now that I have this task, I'll be on the lookout. I'll be traveling to the Helma, um, to spy out other powerful, courageous, and worthy candidates, I suppose.
You have been within?
Yes, it was.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a hard couple of days in there.
I am certain. But you saw our markers.
What do you mean?
Such a young thing. Walks back over to the table, picks up a bag, and then puts her hand in, forearm all the way in, and shuffles around for a bit, and then extracts a stone and hands it to you. When you take it, you flip it over, and on it is the face of Bo. Present this to our icons within, and you will be able to travel from the Helma back to the surface.
Okay, understood. This is a work of other hag folk.
um, let's just say the Fey powers that were utilized to create this network have long since fallen away.
Hmm.
Those who have taken up the icons of this power are the ones who are smart enough to realize it for its worth.
You frighten me, grandmother, but I will heed your task.
And you
I will act despite my fear.
and you frighten me, Sister Arya. Remember, you came into my home and murdered my sister, and when pushed to power, consumed it. You have an ambition.
Arya looks ashamed.
You have an ambition within you that you will soon realize is greater than your meekness. If you don't, well, please don't go the route of Molly and try and make deals with beings who would shackle you, bind you. They call them the fair ladies. Their hearts are blacker than mine. We're going to cut the scene. We're going to move to the next scene.
Next victim.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we call them victims. We don't call them scenes. The friendship between one soul and local magic atelier has grown in recent days. In fact, during the downtime activity, Soul invested some time into that matter as well. And as you come to be at his home once again, you are now aware, since you've been friends with him for some time, you're fully aware of the interior. You sit on the first floor, talking, but this time the meeting wasn't called by you. It was called by Marcel. He says, I know that you have typically come calling to me in our discussions, and I have been busy of late with matters regarding my pupils. I thank you for your time, but something has come to my attention that I wish to discuss with you more fully.
Of course.
He reaches into his palm, which you know at this point is a glove of storing, and extracts a human hand that looks like it's been severed at the wrist. It doesn't appear to be bleeding. It looks like it's been completely exsanguinated, almost clinically so. And he walks over to show you the palm. The palm has the mark of judgment upon it. An ally of mine came upon a group of individuals. They were dispatched, but they seemed to be very intent on securing my associate on the road. On the road between here and the palace. I know your history, so I understand that you may have been under the impression that these individuals were all but gone. If you would like this token, you may keep it.
No.
If not, I plan to study more about why this sigil was emblazoned so graphically in the hand of this individual. But I think I understand, in a sense, why it is done.
And Soul is being this quiet through this whole.
He would walk over to the counter table, kind of set up over here, almost like a desk like set up with like cabinets and cupboards above it, and toss the hand onto the desk portion, and look over to you and say, they are a cult of a entity known as Alanusura, a dark power of sorcery and death.
I am aware.
I believe that you your magical powers may blossom from a place of tampering with your birth.
Hampering?
In, well, perhaps even still in modernity, but more so in the past, there was a cult known as the Meridians. They very much believed that they could imbue living flesh with the power of death. It was done to the one they worshipped, the entity that they swore their lives or their unlives to. They would perform dark rituals over their children or parents of their children to grant them powers in their life, to ensure that the spark of sorcery would blossom in them. I haven't had
Not
an
sure
opportunity.
I'm comfortable with what I think you're implying.
I am not stating that it is a fact. I apologize if my hypothesis so made you uncomfortable. You have done everything you can to hide the marks on your hands, but I have seen them. I know full well that this must be troubling to you, and I have not had yet the opportunity to speak with your mother regarding the matter. I know that you were taken at a young age by the cult, and it could very well be the case that while they had you, something was done to awaken the magical spark within you.
It has seemed that my family, since my grandmother, has had some sort of magical talent. So I don't. Mm.
Could be the case that you had a spark inside of you, and somehow this allured them to you, and your power may be from an uncorrupted source. I would ask if I were able to have associates of mine test you and look into the matter. Would you be comfortable with this, or would this be a transgression that you'd be unwilling to commit to?
Soul will let out kind of a dark little chuckle and say, "Comfortable?
Hmm.
No. Are they people that you trust? What do you
He
expect to come of it?"
walks over to you where you're sitting and kneels down on the rug and offers his hands out to you.
Soul will look at their left hand and back at the Atelier as if to ask that's the one that
He
he wants
nods.
to see. Reluctantly will hold out their hand.
He takes your hand in his, and he looks up at you and says, I would never allow anyone I did not trust I think Tom froze. Or did I freeze?
No, Tom froze.
Okay, I got him. I got him. No, I got him. It's fine.
Oh, there we go. Hi again.
Yay!
Ha ha ha!
Must have been those.
Screencast.
Must have been those dark magics taking hold.
Oh my god! Look at how mad he is. Sorry. Back to the focus. Back to focus.
Oh, poor Tom.
Takes your hand in his. Looks up at you and says, "I would never allow anyone I did not trust to know about this. You have my word that anything that we do regarding this matter, I will make sure that it is not breaking any bounds of your comfortability. If you do not wish for me to seek this out and investigate it, I will stop immediately. But you have grown to be someone that I am very fond of. Someone that I trust, and that is a rare occurrence. And in that, I see that you are troubled. And if I have the power to help you with that, I would like to."
I suppose if the cult persists and is seeking more people, more I understand about whatever power it is that I have or was given or forced to have, the more I'll be able to do without the whole town having to come save me again.
I know, too, that the current headmistress of the Heisrick Academy, high up on the mountain, is a sorceress of great power. Her name is Lena Albacoris. She is said to have been alive for hundreds, if not 1,000 years, and is a master of purifying flame. If we seek more information into what has become of your spark, where it comes from, what it means, how it was generated, it may very well be possible, at least from what I understand from the history texts, to purify your spark, to make it whole again, or if it is from a corrupt source entirely, to reshape it and make it anew.
The only other thing that I would ask is, as you know, my father is part of the conglomerate, so the it's a sensitive topic.
I
So
understand.
discretion.
I understand. The individual I seek to speak with and bring forward on this matter is a hedge mage of sorts. Not much of a known commodity amongst the upper echelons of the conglomerate. Not even the ones that dwell within Tarnkeep, such as your father. So, it should be a matter that is kept quite off the books. But if we see that it requires a greater hold and we are able to get an audience with Lady Albacoris, well, to me that would be the most wise thing to do. However, I will always ask you before we move forward with anything to ensure you are ready to take that step.
That is what separates us from the cults.
Consent. Alright. Okay, we'll cut from that scene. We're going to move to Ronnie. Similarly to Arya, you receive messages during your trancing. Nothing you expected. Nothing you would have ever concerned or assumed was possible, even.
Mm.
But in the space that resides between the Feywild and the material world that you occupy when you trance, a woman comes before you. A stranger, but yet someone very familiar to you. The room, Lycoid Keep, all of it vanish away. And all you can see before you is her standing at the base of a hill you recognize, Red Hill. A nice little farm has grown up around it, and a beautiful temple sits atop the hill. And then your trance ends.
Spooky. um, would I know that there's a farm on Red Hill?
Yeah, you passed it. You've probably gone up there before. Again, you had some connections with Arya early game and pre-game, so she worked at the shrine, which is two-parted. There's the Shrine to Allowain, which is like a much more luxurious area, kind of lower on the base of the hill. And then there's the Shrine to the Provider, which is on the top of the hill, which is more like it's more of like a classical Parnin style building than the Shrine of Allowain. So there's like, columns, the Ionic style kind of columns that kind of rise up to, a very simple but structured roof. Yeah.
So I'd probably go there, just curious.
Okay. You arrive, and you can see that as you kind of come out there in the early morning time, that it looks like the farm is at full activity. You make your way through the paths, walking by some random... Oh, the music needs to shift. Sorry, the ominous portion was...
I can't even hear the music right now.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's fine. It was
Maybe
ominous
on.
Fey music.
No, I have it all the way up.
Fair enough. So then I will do something a bit more familiar with this space. When you arrive at the farm, you can see that up at the top of the hill is the structure that I mentioned before, the Shrine to the Provider. If you make your way through the farm area, people kind of look to you and wave, "Hi!" And then some people go, "Oh, that's Ronnie! Hi!" Seemingly pleasantly aware of the people that are present here. Some of them you've helped with this or that, all about this space. But when you come up to the shrine itself, the temple itself, you can't remember when you've ever been here. You pass by the pillars, massive and intimidating, and old, but at the same time new. You get a sense that this place has been rebuilt. This place has been restructured. It feels as if parts were made whole again through magic and work. As you step into the inner space, torchlight and candlelight can be seen ahead, glowing, creating shadows on a 30-foot tall statue of a woman holding a sickle in one hand, a bunch of wheat in the other. Strangely, the statue looks familiar to you. A young woman's face, her hair in braids, ponytails, It looks like the stranger you saw during your trance. You then see the Shrine Maiden, Maluriel, who you have probably met before. You probably aren't terribly familiar with Maluriel,
Mhm.
but you at least know her by name, and she may very well know you, likewise. And sorry, hold on, real quick. I just allowed it. It just got okay. Hold on, real quick, for people watching who have been here. Okay, so first things first. This is what Granny looked like. Okay, sorry. It just now let me load these. I don't know what Roll20 was doing. Okay, that was from Gito's bit, and then Marcel, who we've seen before. But yeah, just to make sure that everyone we've seen has been accounted for. Okay, cool.
I can also hear the music now, so I
Yay.
think it might have had.
Yeah,
Roll20 was having some
Roll20 was being
issues.
goofy. So Maluriel sees you and says, Ronasil, hello, welcome. I was called here for purpose. Are you here for any specific reason?
I have, not a dream, but, kind of a dream. At least how they've been described to me.
What you have seen is a dreaming. Dreamings are things that elves of old were able to create within their trance space. However, we have shunned away from this practice. It can lead to dire things. But as you are potentially aware, the drow still hold to this, the dreaming. When we see dreamings, it is because a member of the Court of Seasons has called upon us. I'm assuming that you saw, and she gestures up to the statue.
Why would she be calling me, though?
I do not know the reasons for the Court of Seasons' efforts in the material plane. They are not allowed to directly affect us. Those are the rules. But they can guide in ways for the elves that are unfortunately not available to other mortal races. You see, we have a direct connection with our divine world. In fact, as I understand it, you lived there for most of your life. We are blessed in this way. But if she sought for you to come here, then, well, it must be the case that you are to be her guide. And if that is true, then I must tell you much of what is happening in the world, young Ronasil. He moves over to the steps and sits, and then pats the steps next to her.
She'll sit down next to her.
You see, in the beginning of the Wizards' War, there were a number of gates that were present throughout Cardend that led directly to the Feywild. It was easy for an elf to move from here to the Shazas. But, unfortunately, after our Sentinel, great duelist and Twilight Knight, left us, we lost our connection with Ain Karad, the town beyond the Veil. From what I understand, a great many voices rang out in unison when this happened. For the power that would be required for such a sealing is quite great. I know of only 3 ways that it could be done. One was employed at the very earliest stages of the Wizards' War. A divinity directly touched the wood of the great trees in Aingarad, caused a gateway to open. Another would be by powerful magic. Magics that I do not think that the entirety of the school up on the mountain would be able to replicate. but the last way. And perhaps the reason the screams rang out as they did was dark ritual. Powered by death itself.
Like death cults?
Yes, Eloane is a motherly being. In fact, she takes up the zodiac of the mother in our circle. Well, at least her daughter does. And many would see it fit to look at the very pure aspects of Eloane, of birth, of life and growing and understanding, and think little more for the fourth aspect. However, I tell you, with no great joy in my heart, that there are those who look fully upon that fourth aspect and it alone, seeing that it is the most important aspect in their minds. I don't personally understand their reasoning, but I do understand their power.
I mean, I guess I get it because we all die eventually, but I also don't understand them.
When we die, we are expected to return to where we came from. In some ways, we return greater than we left. In other ways, we return simply to be folded back into the tapestry that is Urs and its environs. But there are some who would seek for us not to be a part of this endless dance. They would instead rather see us used. Our souls, our thoughts, our memories, our joys, our loves, our pains, used as power. I am very much under the impression that those who reign in Ainkarad now destroyed those who lived there before and used their demise to close themselves off from the world.
That's not very nice.
I don't disagree. But I have been seeking ways back in hopes that I could at least find out if that were the case. If some great evil has fallen Ainkarad, I would hope to go there myself and purify it, or to seek vengeance on those who were so wronged. Perhaps I could free their souls from a torment that they do not deserve.
Well, that would be good.
And I think that's why you had your dreaming, Ranisu. I think it is...
She wants me to find Aincrad?
From what I understand, you have passed through this mortal coil and stepped beyond the veils of the Live.
It's one way to put it.
In being brought back, there is an inherent understanding of death that you may not be fully able to grasp of yet, but will unfold before you. Perhaps this knowledge is what Omnisma seeks. One who will wander into the Feywild and find out the truth of what has happened in Ainkarad. I will keep in contact with you via letter. If you wish to stop by here at any time, or the shrine, wherever I may be, I will give you good counsel, as I do with Arya. And I will hope that if we are able to together find a way back into the Feywild, we can learn more of what has befallen Ainkarad.
Well, I can certainly try. There's a lot going on right now, though, so I'll do my best.
I am over 300 years old. Patience is my best quality. I, of course, will wait until you feel ready, but if information comes to me that might suit the provider's goals, I will put it to you and hope that she guides you in whatever she wishes for you to do.
Thank you. I appreciate both of you. She kind of looks up to the statue and then back to her.
There's almost like a sense of like when you look up at the statue, which looked very stern and like focused, there's almost a sense of like elation about the face. Like you don't know why, but you get a feeling like they're looking at you like a proud parent would look at a child. And we'll cut the scene there.
Hey, my roll 20 keeps crashing.
That's a great time to do it for you to fix
Sorry.
your No, absolutely fine. Last but certainly not least, the duties of a knight of the blood or the rose sword are not very vast, but when the king calls upon you, you're expected to answer the call. The king has called for you, but you understand that the reason that this call has been made, the nature of this call, aligns with something you were instructed to do already. Your mother will be arriving in Cardend. You assume that she will be arriving and will be first forced to enter into the palace to meet with King Mason himself. And so, this is a scene you have been in before. It is not the first time that you have entered into the royal palace's throne room. You've seen it many times before. As you enter into the space, you see that the 6 knights of the castle have taken their place at the bottom of the steps. They wield the war staves afforded them, and are basically on guard at the base of the steps up to the court's main dais. You, with no requirement for being pushed to where to go exactly where you are expected to stand. You are overjoyed to see that, standing to your right, is Arya Falconrest, a knight amidst the group who was a good friend of your mentor. You have not formed as concerted a relationship with Arya Falconrest as your mentor had, but you know that she is someone that you can see as confidant, someone that you can trust. When you take your place, she looks over to you, and you can sense a sense of pleased, kind of just like, looking you up and down, but a measured sense of like she appears to be like pleased by your presence. Across from you, you can see that there are other knights that are present, but one of the knights does not appear to be a knight of your order. Instead, the knight directly across from you, you would recognize as Johann Mensage. He is the head of the dungeon of the palace. Young, confident, possibly arrogant. The best air of kind of person that you can kind of get from him in these short moments before the actual beatings begin is he has a very Gaston-y kind of presence. Next to him is a person you recognize from your order. One of the greatest knights amidst the order, second only to Seth Highland himself, would be Eric Fremond. Eric Fremond wears the helm of the eagle and is always just kind of stern looking. Very Judge Dreddian kind of individual. There's just a presence about him that is always serious. You recognize others in attendance. The other 2 knights of your order that are present, Seth Highwind to the top left of the stair. This would be the Lord King's main guard. And then the other knight of your order that is present is Maribel Rassor, who wields a glaive, and she is stood next to, or on the opposite side of Seth. You're not very familiar with Maribel, just by name and reputation. You know that she did not start off in Lordly Station. She is actually a member of the peasant class who has risen to stature and served as the squire of Seth Highwind for a time, despite being much older than he is, by a decade or so. The other people in attendance, you recognize Rhonda Kelpham, the Lady of the Watch. And based on just reputation alone, never having met these two, you see an Autognome and a Topaz Dragonborn. The Autognome is the mayor of the town of Cardend, an individual named Casey O. And their protector is a Dragonborn named Morax. When you arrive, it's not long after a woman with brilliant red hair and the adornments of a conglomerate mage steps onto the dais and looks up to the king. She kneels. He bows his head lightly, and the barker yells out her name, Headmistress Lena Albacoris of the School of Heisrick, High Magier of the Conglomerate, Pyromancer of no equal. She says to Mason in a very informal tone, "Well, your daughter's training has gone quite well. I am here to return her to you." The king says, "She has taken her seat by my side. I thank you for your pleasantries. I thank you for following decorum. But of course, as is expected between 2 old friends, it was not necessary." She says, "It was my pleasure." And she'll turn and walk right past you. There's just a sense of power here that is very outside of your ken. Like, as she strides past you, she is adorned with baubles that you're like, I don't know what magic these do. But there's definitely, like, everything appears to be magical.
And what is Mason's daughter's name? Is that Mason's daughter here?
Correct. And her name is... It's a great question. Matilda. Matilda Valthanier.
And so she was training to with the Magier.
Correct.
Okay.
You would know that the school is probably about a day's ride north on the summit of the mountain. It's kind of higher up the mountain, so to speak. As the top of Mount Balthanier is kind of a bit more... It's not flat by any means, but it is not a straight shot like summit, like your typical mountain. It's very much kind of an amalgam of points. Does that make sense?
Yep.
The lady strides out. You would then notice that the attendance hall starts to fill up with individuals. It looks like your mother is in attendance. It appears that she has a second, as is normal decorum. She, bear with me here. Are the handouts perfect? They never are. 1 second. Goodness gracious. What is going on, handouts? Do the thing. Do the thing. What did we name your mom?
What did we name our mom, Liz?
You stepped
Uh,
away.
I stepped away, sorry. I don't remember. Hold on. Let me get to my notebook.
Mama.
For some
Mama.
reason, the handout does not have the notation.
Mama.
I'm looking at my notes. I don't even think we decided on a surname.
No, I don't think.
Possible that she is unnamed?
I think she's unnamed.
Hold on.
Okay. It's not a problem. Hold on.
I think you asked us to name her, and
And
then
it just never happened. I think the same is the same is true of your surname. So I will
hold
take
on.
some liberties there. In
No, we had discussed surname.
what's the
Hold on.
surname then?
Give me a second. I'm trying my best.
Because I don't think you ever came to a decision on that either.
We technically did.
Chaotic good. This is what you get from chaotic good. So flippant.
Leave me alone. Shoot, it's been a while since
Might be in the
we-
Discord chat somewhere, Liz. So I
That's
don't
what
know
I'm looking at.
Oh, okay.
It was the same last name as those twins.
Oh sure, Greensleeves. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Actually, I know an easier way. I can look at the media files on the phone app.
It would have been Son of a Biscuit.
Okay, I'll get there. Eventually.
I believe in you. I've always have. Sorry, folks watching at home. We're just bad at notes. I'm bad at notes. Also, I should have enforced it before session. That's also my bad.
All of
You're
us
bad.
are bad.
Yeah, but I'll
There's
take credit for it.
Gabos.
Don is bad and evil.
That's it, that's it. Almost there, I swear. Did we talk about that before?
Why is
or
Zach talking about
after?
Matilda and Fran?
Matilda was the name of the daughter, actually.
I just saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Balthanier.
Yeah, I think he
Oh,
was
there.
offering options for names for their mom. My aunt is named Fran. Was named Fran. Sorry, she passed. That's
Still
well,
Tina. Is
yeah.
that it?
Fran Drescher.
Can you post it in the chat real quick, just so we just have the same spelling and I don't try and mess it up? Again, this was on
I will roll 20 chat.
Discord's fine.
Discord's.
And then her name is Fran now. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going with Zach. Yeah, I already used Matilda though, so I can't use it again. Although I did use Aria, and someone was named Aria, so.
That was a choice.
How dare you.
Look, Steve named his character well over 2
Oh,
years ago.
okay. I see. I see.
What he named it.
Kind of remember that.
So, your mother's name is Alora Seltena,
Love it.
and there is the handout. She's dressed as she's dressed here. She looks like she's dressed for road travel. She probably has the sword in scabbard at her side. No. God damn it. Okay, anyways. Focusing up. The individual that she appears to be with is not an elf. At least you can't tell for certain. They are wearing a helmet which is not common good courtesy or etiquette in the palace, but he has made it this far in doing so. So your presumption is that he is being afforded special right to do just that.
So sort of a guard for
Correct.
Sultana.
And you would know that Alora is very capable as a blade singer. She is not an individual who would be pressed very easily on the road, but you know that it is common practice for anyone acting as a dignitary in the lands of Balthanir to travel with accompaniment. The individual that is accompanying her is also wielding a massive sword, which is not the only person in the space to do just that. Mason Balthanir's sword is also very huge.
Wow.
But he looks like he's wielding a very, very large weapon. It appears to have some sort of draconic mark upon it, which you can't identify, and he has a smaller sword at his hip. He just stands there, very much like this picture, next to your mom. They are not talking, there's no whisper or banter, they're just present. Everyone else in attendance, besides the knights, in the kind of lower area, are elves. There's a red-headed elf wearing very fine, courtly attire, and standing next to her is a Twilight Knight. We'll get pictures of them up here in a moment.
Has Cheermain ever seen this mysterious swordsman before?
The one with the helmet on?
Yeah.
No.
In other words, has he seen his mother being guarded by this knight?
No, this is the first time you've ever seen this individual before.
Okay, got it.
If you'd like, you can make a history check.
I shall try. We rolled a 21.
Based on description alone, he matches the description of an individual you know from historical context by the name Slayer. Slayer is a traveling documentarian. He basically is an individual who travels for the purpose of traveling and then writes heavily about it. He is someone who has formed several treatises. They are typically referred to as Slayer's Guides.
This must be an important gathering if he's here, Hermain would think to himself.
It looks like he's just traveling with your mom. Like, whatever is happening there.
Okay.
The redhead and the Twilight Knight you don't recognize, nor do they have any kind of courtly station of elves in your specific enclave. Same is true of the other two elves. It looks like the opposite would be true on their side. The woman appears to be the guardian, and the man appears to be the guarded. The man looks like he has a sword like your mother, kind of just at his belt, very casual, but he looks like a mage. And the woman with him looks like some sort of duelist or fencer. Lena leaves, and the king says, "Next on the docket, Lady Sultana." And she'll step up the dais in a very casual fashion, and her guard will attend. She steps forward and says, "King Mason Balthanir, I greet you as a member of the council that will be negotiating the Fey Treaty in hopes of determining what we do forward from this day regarding the Feywild and your town below the mountain. I come in hope that all who are present for this purpose, peaceful negotiation, do so in good faith. And I hope that you, as arbiter of these negotiations, will kindly allow for us to come to an understanding, not only with ourselves, but with your people." He says, "Hear, hear." And then the woman who's sitting on the dais in front of him chimes in, "Lady Sultana, it is a pleasure to have you in our court. I thank you for gracing us with your presence." Who is this individual who has not taken his helm off in my presence? She nods. He is the one known as Slayer. Those at the gates allowed him entry into the palace and the throne room with his helmet, as is afforded his culture and his path. She says, Slayer? Interesting. Your mother then says, he has come with an inquiry his own. Will you hear it, good King Balthanir? He nods. I would like to, very much so. She steps back into a position of consort, and he steps forward and says, with a voice that is absolutely intimidating, like just the most kind of masculine voice you can imagine. I'm not going to bust it out because I can't pull it off, but I'm going to give it a go. He says, Good King Balthanir, I seek to meet with Lord Tefris, or, if you can afford it, grant me access as Lord Sanctioned or King Sanctioned to enter into the Helmar. You wish to enter into the Helmar? The king says. The helmet nods. We have one Lord Sanctioned among us. Knight Termaine Siltena, please step forward.
He would do so.
No, not that far.
Wait, back here. Sorry. Whoops. All the way up.
Oh my god, they would have cut you in pieces. Okay, just a quick note on courtly station. Royalty is allowed to go up the steps to the dais of the throne room. That's why there's only his family up there, right?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, no.
Even
Yes.
even in attempts to protect him, they're not technically supposed to go up the steps. It is the goal of the knights to ensure that no one touches those steps. So yeah.
Germain actually goes up and asks the king if he can borrow the seat for a second.
I'm tired, may I sit?
As everybody that's a knightly in the room just goes for it. Slayer says, Termaine Siltena, you are a Lord Sanctioned. I ask if your lord has room on his docket to sanction me as well?
That would be up to our lord. We have recent experience in the Helma, and would be glad for another strong sword at our side.
You know that the Lord Sanction our Lord can only sanction 4 at a time, so he would have to remove someone from that sanction.
So that is something that I cannot grant, but Lord Trumhair can assist you with.
I will meet with him. I believe I am expected to transport your lady mother to his keep. The king says, Lady Siltena, so that I may adjourn with you. She steps forward, he steps back, and you kind of look to the situation and realize you're expected to just step one step back.
Oh,
so that she is the one attending the king. And he says, if our business is through, I apologize that I do not have apartments or availability to house you here in the palace. But from what I understand, your good knight son has a place for you to reside for the time of our discussions. You will have no problem ascending and descending the mountain? Of course not. I can do so nearly instantaneously. She smiles. You know this is a boast. She doesn't have the power to do that.
Okay, wow, okay. Wow, Mom, go.
He says, well then, in 2 days' time, return here to this place, and we will begin our first meeting. She nods, bows. Slayer bows, you bow. She then turns back.
Above the table question.
Yeah.
I was a little unclear who was speaking. Who's going to be is Alora the arbiter, or is Balthanir the arbiter of the negotiations?
Balthanir is the arbiter of the negotiations, the king.
Okay. I was unclear who was speaking at that time.
The
Great.
3 elves These 3 elf nobles have been brought here to discuss what is to happen with Einkarad.
Great.
Basically, they are representatives of 3 enclaves that are near to here. She will stop before turning about and then say, I ask one favor of the king before I take my leave. Of course, ask it. Allow me to take my son with me to Lycoy Keep. I will leave it to the knight, as he is a man of the Rose Sword. Do you wish to escort your lady mother to Lycoy Keep, or remain here?
I wish to escort my mother to the keep.
So be it. And then you are expected to leave, and so you, Slayer, and your mother exit this place. As you make your way down the mountain, and again, oh, I see what it's doing. As you 3 make your way down the mountain, Slayer is quiet. I don't know why that. What? Dynamic lighting. Fuck all that. This is just again for visual display. This isn't really like for mapping. But you make your way down, and you're heading towards the Royal Dam, which, as we've discussed in the past, is a relatively important location in setting, as it's the only way to ascend the mountain to get from town to there. That being said, Slayer's quiet and says nothing along the way. Your mother, on the other hand, is just kind of babbling on, stating names that are not any of import to you, and just kind of seemingly kind of just talking about the upcoming meet. If you pay attention, what you would basically glean is that they are hoping to find out what to do regarding the town in the Feywild known as Einkarad, which is basically the mere town of Cardend. There are no gates to this place, but there are means of aggressing to it from other places in the Feywild. It has come to her understanding that a cult of the 4th aspect resides inside of Einkarad and has been sending out raiding parties to nearby elvish settlements outside of the 5 great trees of Einkarad. A town or city in the Feywild will typically be structured around 1 or more great trees. A town with 5 great trees in your mind is the most number of great trees you've ever heard of. So the town of Einkarad to you, in your imagination, it's probably like, it's like trying to imagine New York after someone describes like, the Empire State Building, right? It's the kind of like thing that's happening in your head. But she kind of is talking about it dismissively, like it's some sort of backwater.
Mother,
Yes.
I do have some things to tell you.
Oh, sorry. Just me blathering on about business.
That's okay. Yeah, I understand. You're here for an important negotiation.
Of course,
But
of course.
I just did want to say that we're okay. And we're adjusting well here. Rani did run into some difficulty
Difficulty.
in our yes, in the Helma. We required the services of a cleric to bring her back. And so I think you should just maybe check on her when you see her
Of course, I'll check on her.
with that in mind.
How was it?
It is dangerous. It is a dangerous business, but she is very brave.
How was
And
it? The Helma, she says, and you see her say that and kind of look over to Slayer, who you can see is like just staring at you. Like You can't see his eyes because of the shadow of his helmet, but you can see his helmet is turned in your direction, and he's like giving you 100% of his attention.
Yeah, and so he would not care about that. He knows that Slayer is interested in this, and so he would describe to the best of his ability what happened there, and the different kind of troubles that they faced, including the entrance that they found.
Are you doing so in detail?
Maybe not in specific detail, but more in general detail.
It's
So,
enough.
like,
I think that would be enough for Slayer to like. He takes the sword and kind of sets it to his back, and you hear kind of like a metallic clank, and then he pulls out a leather-bound journal, and
Mm.
pulls out a strange-looking quill or device, and starts writing as he's walking and like listening to you, and then watching the road.
Yeah, so he would be especially interested in describing the last bit that they were in where Randy actually died, and interested in describing the what was that thing called? Autogloob, Utag Gloob,
The
and
key.
that was the weird tentacle, Eric. The creatures that were creating the copies.
Oh,
Utag
a
Gloob.
deep spawn.
Yeah, that kind of thing as well.
You see, as you're kind of trying to remember it and you're describing it, Slayer goes, "Oh, a deep spawn," and like starts writing.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's how you pronounce Utagul.
He says it had a name. Interesting.
I suspect we're going to be spending more time exploring that area,
Well,
he says to his mother.
she says, "Well, my compatriot here was willing to escort me to Cardend free of charge if I would do my best to ensure that he got a meeting with this Lord Tefres. I'm sure Lord Tremere has some connection with this lord, and hopefully we can make this happen for my associate here. I understand that the Helmaw is a place that's filled with riches, but equally filled with horrors and awful things. I'm more concerned about this negotiate, and then she continues blathering on. The rest of the journey seems to be focused on her talking, but you can see Slayer kind of like walking and talking, or walking and listening, but is still like kind of just penciling in and filling out his notes. During a moment where you're kind of like turning around a bend, or you kind of go to one point, you can see that his journal is filled with drawings, and it looks like he's started to draw a deep spawn, and it seems to have like like very high detail drawing, and you can see that there's like a notice, and it's the word Odagloob, like as you said it. And then there's like a couple of different spellings, right? And then he tries and like it looks like there's Elvish markers as well, like he was trying to take your phonetic like pronunciation and trying to spell it in some like actual official way. So
Like we do when John says a name.
when John says a name and you're like typing it like 1,000 times in different ways.
Like I'm wondering if my Einkarad is actually going to be even close to what you think it is.
It's definitely not going to be. I can.
EINKER.
KARAD.
Oh crap.
So in the discussion, what you will note is that she mentions that the wizardly man in that space was named Laris Maludin. And he is of an enclave that follows the third and fourth aspects, that is near a place south, near a place north called Panacea. And whoever was traveling with him, your mother doesn't seem to name drop that individual, but she says that she is most concerned about Laris. It seems that the nature of Panacea's interest in Einkarad is for resources alone. They wish to take the great trees themselves and remove them and take them to their own neck of the woods. The other individual your mother didn't know the name of, but from what you understand of her speaking, is of an enclave that's much closer to here. as both her and Laris's enclaves are north of here in Balthinear Kingdom, you're pretty sure that the Redhead is either south or kind of just in or around this peninsula, the Balthinear Peninsula. But yeah, as you're kind of, listening to her kind of droning on about the specifics of the politics and focusing on Laris, a lot more than the Redhead whose name she never got, just the Enclave's name. You would note that she's very focused, and Slayer is finishing up his doodles, and you arrive back at Lycoid Keep, and I would assume that everyone would basically be on site as seen, and this would be towards the end of your downtime tenure. So this would be closer to the end date, perhaps the day before the end date that we had mentioned during last session.
Okay.
So we've effectively caught up with time. With that being said, what is everyone doing in the place when Tremaine, his mother, and Slayer arrive on the scene?
You're muted, Liz.
Yeah, I just realized. I think Ronnie would be out in the stables with the horses. Just kind of caring for them.
Well, sorry, I'm trying to reply to.
Arya is just kind of mindlessly tending to the shrine of Alwyn that's in here, sort of like mechanically, like wiping down the surface, replacing the incense, not really in a mindful, devotional, spiritual, just sort of like busying herself.
Okay. Do you have the eye on you or not?
Yeah.
Okay. So
we'll probably be just sitting in the dining hall, nibbling on something while seeming very distracted.
okay. So based on that.
Oh, I forgot to say, actually, I accidentally left the eyeball on Soul's plate.
Well,
Just
that was
kidding.
quick. Well, that was.
Just kidding.
Wow, this Brussels sprout looks really fucking weird.
Oh my god, is this a candied Brussels sprout? You were referring to Corpse Husband, is that right, Elizabeth, in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I can't do that. I mean, I definitely cannot do that.
Juju, I'm sending you their YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Please do
He
not
just
do.
has like a insanely deep voice.
Just please don't do a cummies on screen. Thanks.
Whoa! What the
What?
fuck?
Cancelled.
I said what I said. It's really hot. It's a hot voice. What do you want from me?
It's
Anyway,
true.
Cancelled.
canceled again. So you'd be the first to see them arrive. Soul, Termaine, the lady, and Sultana, and this individual in armor. You were aware that the mother was coming. You don't know who this knight is, but your presumption is that the knight isn't the mother, and that the lady that looks like both Ronnie and Termaine is their mother. He comes in and he sets his sword onto the table and then sits. Arms are crossed. She walks over to you and says, "Oh, hi." Fortunately, during the travel, I just kept on rambling, and Termaine didn't have an opportunity to tell me about anybody, but I presume you are one of the Lord Sanctioned?
Yes, I am Soul.
Laura, she reaches out to take your hand.
Offers their right hand.
Okay. Gloved or no?
Both are gloved, yeah.
Okay. She kind of looks at that a bit suspiciously, which you, again, have probably dealt with your entire, adult life. And then she kind of says, "Well, a pleasure to meet you." She kind of sits near you and then says, looking at Termaine, what is Termaine doing as this is unfolding? They're sitting from the road. Do you go?
They're sitting
They're sitting down at the big long table, and it's just kind of like they've been walking a while.
Yeah, so he would rush into the larder and see
Okay.
if the cook can bring some food out.
The second you disappear, and that'll obviously go just about as well as you expect.
Well,
Wonder-
you know, he
This
always
fucking
gets
guy
away.
again.
This fucking guy again. Is it
He
for you
always
or for
gets
guests?
It's for the guest, of course.
Oh, okay, then I better get to work on it.
Hurry
But
up.
the second you disappear, you see that Alora Soul kind of like looks and waits for Termaine. The door shuts and then kind of looks to you. What happened to my daughter? Do you know? He was a bit vague.
She she's fine, as I'm sure he told you.
She kind of leans in and like her arm slides across the table as she kind of like takes up your full like frame of reference and says, "Please, just out with it. I need to know exactly what happened to my daughter.
it was a fall.
Is she okay?
Yes, she should be fine. Yeah.
Did she die?"
It's complicated down there.
Well, I see you are similar in kind to my son. Fair enough.
I promise, if I understood it well enough to explain the mechanics of whatever it is that happens down there, it's not the same as happens up here. I would, of course, explain it. But yes, but no.
The knight behind her says very sternly, "People who die in the Hellmaw's souls remain with their body, milady. They don't technically die in the sense that we understand it. They do not pass on from the mortal coil. They just remain inert in a deficient body." She looks back at him
Yes,
kind of
that.
like... And then looks back at you. "Heard it was a horrible place, but that sounds terrible. But she's okay."
Not great. Yeah.
He says, "Quite fortunate. From what I understand, there is a slim but not zero chance that a person's soul can be consumed by the maw itself upon demise." And then,
We have heard that, but based on what I know of what lurks above ground, that's not any different.
you see the knight head kind of shift to the side and metal kind of clank as he does one of these and goes, "That's not unfair to say." And then you see him pull out a journal, pop it open, and just start writing. Like something immediately caught his interest. She looks at him for a second more with her mouth kind of dropped, then looks back to you. "Okay, well, what do you do?" Out comes
Grew up in-
Termaine, almost saving you from the pressures of having to talk to her, with a food tray and one of the stewards of the home. She immediately kind of like looks to them, and they set all the food out. There is this kind of brief moment after like some repast has been put forward to them, where she does look at you but doesn't press it. But it does look like if you were to reignite that discourse, this would be the moment to do it if you wanted to.
Why would you want to?
I guess Soul is trying to be a little more friendly. Might be overcompensating for earlier awkwardness from the meeting with Tellier. I grew up in the town. Sorry, if you wish to continue.
Right. She says that she's about to shove cheese into her mouth.
I grew up with my family just outside of town. We run a kind of a way stop, potions and medicinals.
She kind of... a merchant of sorts. You weren't a member of the nobility, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Everybody their place and their purpose. Well, that's very interesting. So alchemy and magic, I'm assuming, is probably something you're familiar with.
Yes, yeah.
Very interesting to test. It's been a while since I've had an opportunity to really sing the songs. Ah, this is quite good. You see that watching from the door, arms crossed, the cook, and when she says that, he kind of nods without her seeing him do it, and then kind of smile, and then just turn quietly and walk back into the kitchens. But Tremaine sees it, and he's like, it's like, oh, mom's happy, but the cook isn't happy, and strangely, that's more important in this moment. The Lord enters into the space after a fashion, and says, "Oh, Lady Sultana, welcome. I do apologize. The space is, well, a bit rustic, probably for your taste." "Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. Absolutely wonderful. I love this." And he says, "Well, you'll be staying in my chambers." And she kind of, I got back, and he goes, No, I won't be staying there. I am surrendering them to you." "Oh, well, you didn't have to do that. That's absolutely not necessary." "No, it's absolutely fine. I wish to do it. I understand that you are meeting with a king, and well, it's a very important and very, high station thing that's happening there." She goes, "Uh-huh," looking at him. Where's my daughter?" Believe she's out tending the garden." "Well," she says as she pushes her empty plate.
She's at the apple fritter buffet.
Apple fritters? Fucking where? She just runs out. What? She pushes her plate like towards the middle of the table and kind of slowly starts to stand up. And the Lord kind of like moves to kind of help her with that. And she kind of bats him away pleasantly and says, "No, it's fine. Absolutely not a problem. My son will take me to her. I do believe that you and my guardian have some matters to discuss." And he says, Oh, do I?" As he looks cautiously at the unmasked knight. His name is Slayer, and he seeks to find a means of entering into the Hellmaw. I am under the understanding that you have the power to allow people into that space. Well, I do, but she kind of waves her hand. "I understand. You have a limit. But I understand that Lord Tremere Lord Tefras does not. Perhaps you could engage him, and hopefully, with Slayer's persistent arguments, he might be allowed access." Alwyn nods. "Okay. Yes, I will speak to your friend." And they will go to that as Lady Sultana and Tremaine step outside towards the gardens. Arya, you from the chapel area, you can see that there is movement outside. It does look like there's stuff happening. But when
Oh yeah. As soon as like I clock movement, I will be like curious and peek out.
I'll say that you'd see that this lady you don't know, who looks very much like Tremaine and Randy, steps out with Tremaine and starts heading towards where Ronnie is located.
So Tremaine would say she's either in the gardens.
That's her
or
right there. She points.
In, I thought she was in stables.
Yeah. Right.
Stables with her horse Autumn.
Right. She
Right.
like they're not like totally closed or like blockaded. Like it's kind of a bit more open air. So she clocks her
Okay.
and starts heading in that direction. Arya, do you chase after them, or do you wish to go inside to see what might be going on inside? Maybe Cat, don't drink that. There's alcohol in there.
That is a good question. I think I'm honestly I think I'm a little intimidated by the appearance of Mom. I'm gonna go inside and see what's going on inside.
I want to pet that cat. I want to pet that cat.
He only
Melee.
has one tooth.
Oh,
Aww.
He's a gummy bear.
gummy bear. Poor baby.
Baby bear cat. Okay,
Now
sorry.
he's a baby
You-
gummy bear cat.
You would go inside where you would see Soul as two men are talking. Soul is just kind of there. It does seem like they are talking about Lord Tepris and the Held Gate and a bunch of like stuff that you already know about
Mhm.
how the system works, Soul. But like it's just they're just talking about it. And you'd walk in somewhere towards the end of that conversation.
That's boring.
That's why we're going to cut to outside. Uh,
God damn it.
Lady Sultana walks up on Ronnie at the stables, if memory serves.
She'll get a little, just slightly spooked, but turn around and go, "Mom!"
Ah! And she'll offer herself up for a hug. As
Hug
that
time.
takes place, Tremaine stands off to the side, ever diligent, ever the chivalrous boy. And after the hug, she says, "So, can you just tell me straight, since your brother won't, and neither will his human friend inside, did you die?"
You told.
No, they
And
didn't.
then
I
he would wink.
sussed it out. They're not very good at keeping secrets, I would say.
I did. I'm fine though.
What did you see when you died?
Nothing.
That
It was weird.
must be what Slayer was mentioning. Said that if you die in there in the Helma, your soul stays bound to your body? Sounds like an accursed place.
Something like that. But I'm fine.
Hmm.
I'm here.
I'm glad for it. I worry about you. Especially
I'm
since this
Fine.
place has become such a hotbed for activity politically of late. It seems that it's very much the interest of a number of enclaves to find out what can be taken or restored from the town of Einkarad.
Wait,
And-
what are they wanting to do with it?
Well, our enclave wishes to restore it. From the sounds of it, there are 5 great trees in Einkarad, and that would be much better than our current place of station for our enclave.
There's 5?
There are
That's a lot
5.
of trees.
I know. From what I remember of the history that your dad was telling me, is that the eastern tree was blighted in the earliest stages of the Wizard's War. Hold on a second. My wife was coughing. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh. She okay?
I think she just choked on some water.
Oh. Well, she's not allowed to do that. Tell her I said that.
She replied she's okay.
Did you say the Easter tree?
The west.
Eastern.
It should have been the western. I'm sorry, I just looked at my notes. If I
Oh.
said eastern, I'm a dum-dum.
You did say Eastern.
It was the western
Oh.
one. The western tree was blighted during the earliest stages of the Wizard's War. A Twilight Knight was the one responsible for bringing a divinity to the place to restore the great tree's power, opening the gates and bringing it back to some semblance of power. But there's a historical significance here. Your father was going on and on about it. There was a group of individuals in the Age of Heroes, well, perhaps even before, during the time before the Grey War, that were known as the Six. group of individuals that were notable heroes, and apparently Einkrad is where they lived. Where they called home. I know that the other enclave's interests are, well, looks at Termaine and says, I won't force you to stay here with us as we go on about it again. I know I've talked to you about this in full. If you wish to return inside, I won't force you to remain here, she says to Termaine.
He would. He'd stay.
He's no problem. It's no problem at all. She would look back to you and say, the 6 were a group of individuals who are of importance, of significance to the people of the Northwestern Enclave. Some are elves, for the majority of them, but they are folk who believe that if they can get to Einkrad, they can take the trees out and bring them to their home.
I think
Panacea.
that's such a good idea.
It's not, but it is not one that I feel is so filled with folly that I think it's impossible. Especially if the trees are willing.
Well, I mean, I don't think that that's so much the problem, but I had a dreaming last night, and then I went to talk to Muriel. Yeah, that's her name. At the the Provider Temple.
You're doing great.
Thanks. The naivety helps.
Yeah.
She's just a baby. But I think I'm gonna butcher this name. Omnisma. Omnisma. She wants me to help find out what happened and open a portal.
One of the Whitweaven
Yeah.
came to you in a dreaming?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it looked like her, at least the statue it looked like the statue at the temple. So I guess it's her. I haven't actually ever met her in person.
You notice her mouth is kind of agape, and then she kind of covers her mouth and says, Oh, my child. Oh, my child. The Archfey are very commonly choosing individuals to serve as their wanderers, but my daughter, the Provider, well, this is great news. I will bring it before the others. And perhaps maybe you should focus on investigating a way into Einkrad from here. That would give our group a better means of determining what we should do. If the Northwestern Enclave really does wish to have the trees, go with them. And we entreat with the trees, and they are willing, then it is their will. If this Southern Enclave's goals are to be met, if they seem reasonable, then perhaps we should be able to determine if they are truly reasonable with access to the town. If you can find a way there, that would be a great boon to us. Oh, Ronnie. I thought this was going to be a troublesome matter of traveling from here to there, this way and that, for months. But if you are able to find a way directly into Einkrad, oh my child. Thank the Provider.
I don't know if I can right now.
Of course, if you've been called by the Provider, she believes that you will be able to do it.
Well, I have to stop the howling in a well first. Because I did promise Mr. Spencer. But after I can definitely look.
Okay, she says. Well, you, of course, must go the way that you feel you are expected to go. I assume that's how the Wanderers work. It's not really.
He has really good apples, Mom.
Ah, okay. Well, you do as you must. But please, my child, if you feel a calling to find an entryway, then, well, please, if you do find an entryway, let me know as soon as you can. In a couple days' time, I will be traveling back up the mountain, and I should be back before nightfall of the same day. This will be the first meeting, the first actual meeting between me and the other members of the Enclave. I will bring this news to them. Take your time, but please, know that if you do find a way through, it would be a great boon, not just for me, and not just for the other elf enclaves, but also for the town as a whole. There are great resources that can be gleaned from the Feywild. That would
Well,
make
yeah, the Feywild's great.
it so good.
I grew up there. I know.
Me too. But she seems very pleased that you brought this information to her. On the inside, basically, Lord Alwyn promises that tomorrow he will take Slayer to the Hellgate to meet with Lord Tefros. So that's what
Mom
he
is all business.
will be doing. And then your mother will be staying at home, staying at the keep. Regarding the remainder of the day, is there anything else that you folks want to do before nightfall and before you plan to kind of get on to the next beat? Or do you wish to try and go and speak to Brunlock today?
What time of day is it?
Probably afternoon.
I mean, Arya would, notice that there's, travelers arriving. Apparently, Tremaine and Ronasil's mom. So she would kind of like approach them to see, what did y'all talk about? Is everything okay? Have you been expecting your mom to come here?
Yes, and someone looks
Was it Tremaine?
told on me
What?
about dying.
You know,
I tried to cover for you to some extent. She's very persistent.
Why
I
would
know.
why would
you know, Mom.
She's gonna worry too much.
I too remember being a teenager, lying to my mom when I was, going off into the forest to drink, drink wine and smoke herbs, risking my life among the, by reveling close to the cliffs. I didn't want my mom to worry either. But
Well, I'm not drinking. I've never
Well,
done
no.
that. Or
but you are
No.
engaging in great risk.
yeah,
But
but that's kind of what I signed up for, being an adventurer.
Then I think it makes sense to share it with your mom.
But I could have brought it up.
You could have,
That is fair.
but you wouldn't have. So,
Well, I didn't even know that she was coming today, so
do you know, Tremaine,
Do I know what?
that your mother was coming?
Oh yes, of course. I was summoned. I was summoned by the king. Yes, of course.
Wait, out of character, you knew before you went to see the king
Is that right?
I mentioned
that
it
your
last
mom
session.
was going to be here.
I mentioned it last session. Tremere told you. Lord
Yeah.
Alwyn Tremere
Oh, okay.
told you and basically said, if you can, get her to stay here. Like, because that would be
That's
great.
part of the reason why Soul, when the Atelier mentioned that he was arranging some of the travel stuff for them, and they did not have a place for her to stay, so quickly volunteered the keep.
I think Ronnie didn't realize that
Did
it
she-
was today.
To be fair, she was kind of going through some shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
Wait, did Arya know? No.
You would have probably overheard it, but it probably wouldn't have been
Okay.
something that would have stuck with Arya. Because again, also keep in
Okay.
mind, you've also been going through some shit.
Yeah, we've all been busy.
As,
We
as
all
you
got
just
a
kind
little
of
trauma.
I mean, like Tremaine's a knight. That's. I mean, he's kind of has to be. This is his job.
Yeah.
He has to do the thing.
He has to be on top of things.
I have to circle back to the bit. Arya was also having a bad week or bad couple of days as she fingers the ever evil gobstopper in her pocket. It was too funny a bit not to do it.
Why?
The ever evil gobstopper.
We're just going to describe it as so many different foods. It's just
I want that. That's great. So
I
I worry for you sometimes.
don't have anything to say about that.
I would say it's not too late in the day, at least under Ronnie's kind of understanding, to go and just check with Brunlock if you wanted to do that today, or you can wait till tomorrow at first light. Your call. It sounds like tomorrow your mom will be at the keep all day, but then on the day after that, your mom will be making her way back up the mountain to speak. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to go up, and then
Like
likewise
check
go down.
with him on the howling.
Yeah, because you said you were going to investigate it. So, like, if you want to go check it out, like, you could.
With everyone, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's up to us if we want to go or not.
Yeah. I mean, she
No,
would have
dude.
told you guys about
Tremaine
the
is not letting her go by herself. At this
Now,
point.
before you go to the well,
Fair.
do you ask anybody else that might be on the property if they wish to accompany you, or if they, are interested in anything regarding the matter? Absolutely not expected of you to do anything with NPCs that you do not think of on your own. I just want to make sure that you are
we
aware.
could ask Slayer, but it's only 50 GP.
Oh, he's probably not going to ask for recompensance.
Slayer, you want to come see some maybe dogs?
You don't even know his name. So it would
Hey, helm guy.
hey, big scary helmet man.
He's called Slayer.
doesn't sound like Arya, who thinks he's boring, Tremaine, who probably doesn't have a thought one way or the other on him, and other than he's interested in the helm. Well, that's cool. And then Sol, who probably also thinks he's boring.
I might have given him a slight existential crisis earlier.
No. He probably is like, oh, cults? No. I got a chapter. You're just like, no, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And he just starts reading. You're so mad. Why are you so mad? Okay. So you're going as a group. You're heading to Brunlock's farm. Or
Yeah.
rather,
Did
his...
Slayer want to come?
Again, it probably wouldn't... I don't see why Ronnie would ask.
That's fair.
But if anybody else... Like, because, yeah, you didn't really get much engagement with him.
Yeah. Some weird big scary guy in the corner who doesn't take off his helmet.
Yeah, and you didn't see him enter in with your mom either, so that's another thing. You don't know who he is or why he's here.
That's fair.
Okay, since everyone else is tight-lipped, we're going to go ahead and move us to a map. Which might switch music. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
If I'm supposed to be able to see anything, I can't.
I
Yeah.
can
We're
see
getting there.
2 pixels worth
Okay.
of border.
so
I see a dead pixel on my screen.
let's see. Do I have this
Yay.
as a location as well? Nope. I don't think I do.
Wait, where's this well?
Great question. We're going to talk about that here in a second.
Oh no.
Okay. So, when you arrived on the scene, he comes out to meet you. Says, "Oh, Ronnie. Oh, and you brought your friends. Great. Okay. Well, bit of an update. He walks you over to what appear to be large bays of hell.
Bales of
Large
hay.
bales
Thank
of
you.
hay.
Thank you for saying words for me. I don't know how to do it. Surrounding a space of earth that looks like it's just sod that's been laid out over
Hmm.
something.
And he
And
can't
then-
see anything.
What?
I'm still blind. Unless someone can
Nope, I can see
force.
nothing. I see nothing.
Unless someone can force ping me. Ah,
Here we go.
now I
Here
can
we go.
see.
So, you would enter into the space, and he kind of comes out the front door, which is kind of on the northern side, and kind of shows you where the well was located. You can see on the western side, where the cider barrels are kind of stuck there are some bricks that look like they would be for, well making.
Mhm.
But it looks like he has done his best to cover it over. What
Is
you
that a
notice-
donkey?
It is. What you would notice, though, there is a
Oh.
strange sound kind of emitting from the area, and he said, I didn't know what to do. This is kind of a makeshift, effort. And he kind of takes his shovel and starts kind of moving the dirt around, and then moving planks of wood that have the dirt and sod kind of fall in. And he opens up the hole in the ground, and what you start hearing is loud moaning, not
Oh.
howling. It's more of like a. "Oh." You're pretty sure you hear at least two, maybe more, distinct voices. And then he kind of looks down the hole and says, "Yeah, I tried to quiet it as best I could. I was actually thinking about going to the Mason and getting more blocks to just settle over top of it and just ignoring it and forgetting it. But I would much
Is this
rather
what
have
you
the
meant by
well."
howling?
Yeah.
Does the donkey react to the ground, the howling?
Its ears kind of twitch, and then it kind of like looks over in that direction with like a donkey face,
Okay.
but it doesn't seem to
Okay.
be totally motivated to run away or anything.
Okay, got it.
Sound like howling to me, but I guess we could take a look still.
Yeah, you look down the hole, and your dark vision's like not going all the way down to the bottom. Like it goes farther below than that. It looks like there's kind of dirt walls, and then it looks like there are some bricks towards the top that are still kind of settled in a ring where he was starting the well process. But
Is
for
there a
what
good place around here to like hook a rope to?
the
or hitch a
building,
rope to?
you could also kind of secure it to the hay, which is very, very heavy. Like
Okay.
each one is probably a good.
Like the big bales of hay.
Yeah. They're
I'd
like,
like to use my channel divinity divine sense, if I could.
what's the range on it?
60 feet within yourself.
Yeah, so at this point, that divine sense will like emit, but it doesn't seem to kind of ping anything.
Okay.
Whatever it is much further below.
And you dropped a sunstone down there once, right?
I did. There were spikes at the bottom. I think it was around 150 or so feet down.
That is a
Mm,
very strange well.
Well,
yeah.
the well was dug down about 50 feet, and then the floor of it, where the water was pooling, fell in.
Mm. And
Well,
then
I
there's
was
spikes under there.
well wherever. Yeah, the hole opened up to another hole.
Mm-hmm.
They say there are tunnels all over this town.
Yeah, well, this is the same spot that that map said that there was a major tower or something.
Yeah. Well, my descendant said something like that too.
Yeah, well, I have I found a book in the library just before the Helma, and she pulls it out of her bag, like digs around and pulls it out of her bag, the sketch that she did.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get much of a sight on it other than the spikes at the bottom. Stone and steel. And kind of looks down. Just staring blankly. A bit of sunlight does catch through, and you do see what you think are kind of jagged points and edges, but again, you can't be for certain.
Well, I guess we'll have to be really careful going down. Do we want to tie a rope and then climb down and see?
Yep. I'd like to go
Start.
first. Jermaine says, looking at Randy.
Okay. You are stronger.
Yeah.
I have some rope. So we need like 150 feet of rope, right?
Yeah,
I
so
have
about
rope.
3.
And we have one more person that has a rope, I think, right?
I think I had.
Okay.
No, I
So
only
Saul
had.
has rope. Yeah, we have plenty.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's going first?
Jermaine will go first.
Okay. Termaine, as you get the rope situated and you start to descend, the first 50 or so feet are not hard for you to climb. There's plenty of
Right.
footholds in the natural soil, and the rope is secure.
Yep.
You descend
So
to...
I just wanted to say that Divine Sense works for 10 minutes.
Sure. I'll let you know if you are ever within 60 feet of
Okay.
anything that might be untoward. Once you get to the bottom, you'll notice that not only does the floor give out, the tunnel is no longer a perfect tunnel. It opens up into a more worked space. You can see that what you are about to descend through looks like it's the ceiling of some sort of structure, a stone and constructed structure. You're not terribly familiar with the architecture, but it looks like the space beneath you is about 40 foot wide, 40 foot, in all directions square. And then it looks like it descends for another 100 or so feet.
So this doesn't look like the Helma
No.
in any way. No.
This
Okay.
looks like it's some sort of building built beneath the soil, 50
Mhm.
feet beneath the soil.
Okay.
If you descend down into this space, you currently are just looking with dark vision. Your dark vision doesn't make it all the way down to the bottom, but you can hear the groaning more acutely. And you can also hear what sounds like the shuffling of feet.
Oh shit.
Can I how do I do this? How am I is it tied around my waist?
No. You're just climbing. You get to this point, you were just climbing down. You didn't say you tied it to your waist. So my presumption was you were just going to descend on a rope. So
Yeah, that's fine.
at this point,
Can they hear me above?
if you yell up, they can. I'm assuming they're focused inwards. Yeah. So is Brotherhood.
Yeah. Throw down a torch. A lit torch. I'm gonna see what's at the bottom.
I can light one and then toss it down.
Okay. Do you do so?
Yeah.
Okay. Termaine,
Explosion!
make a dexterity saving throw, because again, you're throwing a rope down a hole that's 10 feet wide, and there's a Termaine in that hole.
Who Jermaine makes dexterity saving?
Termaine makes a dex saving throw, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. That's fine, whatever. So it's gonna say I have disadvantage, but I don't.
Right, because you're in half plate now.
19.
It doesn't say you have disadvantage. So you grab a hold of roots and stone and structure, and you kind of move yourself towards one side of the hole, and they throw the torch. They toss it in. You kind of pull yourself close against the wall. The torch cascades past you. You can hear it sizzling as it just whips past you, and then you see it drop into the space. And as it's doing so, you can see that the walls seem to have in the middle of them these strange holes in them at every 5-foot interval. The holes in question are probably about the size of a coffin space. And it does look like there are things inside of these holes, but you cannot tell what they are as the flame very quickly wisps past. As you kind of
Yikes.
But wouldn't my dark vision be able to see it? They're
dark
outside
vision
the tent,
60
right?
feet. Dark vision is not augmented by light being kind of emanated though.
No, I guess I'm so it's only 1 foot wide. It's a very narrow space that I'm going down.
No.
Uh,
It's down narrow to where you stop, and then it widens out. So
Okay,
think of it like a wine bottle, but the wine
Mhm.
bottle is shaped like like the bottle itself is shaped like the square. So there's the
Yeah,
round
yeah.
neck, and there's the
Right,
so
right,
it's more like a tequila bottle.
So if this is some sort of a crypt, it's further. It's like that. It would be further out, whatever that is.
That's right. And when
Okay.
you're like looking down, the only reason that you wouldn't have seen it with your dark vision or concern yourself with it is because they weren't illuminated. Now that you're seeing it in the spectrum of light, you kind of see the shadows that are kind of going against it. Because if you're just looking at a flat surface in no color with no light, it would just look like a part of the structure, right?
Mhm, mhm.
But as the torch is flaring past, you can't tell what's inside of these little alcoves, but you can tell that they're slotted and they're basically human sized, like little spots where people could be shoved in or whatever. The torches fall, and when they come down to about ground level, you would see two individuals whose eyes are caught in the light and reflect green light back up at you like cat's eyes. And you can see that they are readying bows. Looking down at them, even though they are outside the periphery of your sense, you can tell that they are undead. And you're a smart enough boy to realize that they're whites, which means they are not completely
mhm.
unintelligent undead.
Right.
I want to put you on a map, and bear with me here.
I would call up to the group and say what I see.
And then I'm going to move you to it. All right. I'm going to snap ping you to it.
Yeah.
So you are 100 feet up at the point where the rope is leaving the actual well and entering into what you're calling a crypt. Okay.
Mhm.
You'd also see that the pit itself is its separate own segmented section. There does appear to be one notable feature on the walls, and that is a door in the southwest corner. Okay.
So, s- um,
They are going to be entering an initiative space with you.
Yeah.
You're, again, not surprised because you'll see
Yeah,
them
yeah,
with the
yeah.
light. You would have been surprised had you not called out for the torch. So smart move there.
Ooh, bad initiative roll.
I will.
He would call up as a free action to the others. There are 2 whites down here. I'm committed. Come on down.
Okay, I will say
What a terrible invitation.
because of your position on a rope and your lack of a climb speed, they
Mhm.
will have advantage on attack rolls against you because you are not in a position to dodge very well. Okay?
What if when I see them, do I see them? I see them readying bows, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to take a looser grip on the rope and slide down
Oh, no,
really
no.
fast.
We're not into combat yet. Again, they're firing the bows.
Okay.
At the same time, you're realizing they're firing the bows. So that's what the initiative roll here is for.
Okay.
So if they get lower than you, what's your dexterity score?
My dexterity is. I'm sorry. Give me a second. It is +1.
Okay, so that means that they will go first because they have a 14.
Okay.
Okay. And then what I'm going to do here is, folks, is I'm going to grab Arya. I'm going to grab Ronnie. And I'm going to grab Soul. And you can go ahead and roll initiatives as well. For you, you're going to be surprised, so you're rolling it with disadvantage. Make sure you check the disadvantage portion.
I
just
can't select my
token?
token. Yeah.
What?
I
Do
can't
I-
select my token because I don't see anything.
Same.
Do you see it?
Oh, here we are.
It's so tiny in such a big space.
Well, there's a lot of dungeon here.
That's fair.
And there's a decent amount of dungeon. Not a lot. There's a decent amount of dungeon here.
Oh boy, dungeon.
That's basically accurate. The well portion would be thinner. Yeah,
I have a -1. Oh wait, never mind.
the block below would be like wider, if you get what I mean.
Wait.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually a perfect rendition. It just
Well, it's not like a perfect
It's
block. It's more
pretty
of like
perfect.
that's the
but yeah, the bottom.
it's like a cutaway. Like
Yeah.
it fades away on the sides.
Sure. I'm just saying, like, past the actual stone, that bottom section that looks kind of like a pit, it would be wider than the hole that comes into it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So that little line, it was just
Got it.
think of it like the sunlight.
Okay. It's very good.
Done.
You said tunnel, and I started with drawing a tunnel.
So, Ronnie, what you're looking...
Wait. John, I have a -1 to my dex.
You're on a 4. Oh, you're going last, and it repositioned people by alphabet. Okay. Cool. We're set. So, Ronnie, you are up. You're looking straight down. You can see Tormain. Tormain says he's committing and continuing to descend. Obviously, descending on ropes is probably not the thing that you're thinking about doing the most, but from your current vantage point, you cannot see either of the two whites because you're looking straight down a barrel, and they are on the sides of the barrel.
Right. Because we're going after Big Brother.
She just dives in. I've done it once before!
No.
It'll be fine.
No, I'll climb
At least
down
this
the
time
rope.
it's only like 150 feet, not 200.
Okay. So descending down the pipe, no athletics roll is necessary. Like I said, the well itself is kind of very natural, like easy to get your
Good
foothold,
footholds.
and also roots and whatnot. You're able to make it down. I would say if you're just moving at a normal pace, you can get to about 15, 20 feet down. If you're moving at a kind of quick pace, you'll get down right above Termain. So you're either dashing or you're not.
I'll dash.
Okay, you are literally like 10, maybe 5, 10 feet above Termain. Soul.
I'm in a great spot to get shot.
I don't want to go down there and then have a horrific time because there's 4 of us on the rope. Or does it seem like this setup could support all of us kind of
I
descending
would
up?
say that the rope could probably support 10 people without issue.
Okay, then I will also
And whoever
start
the
descending.
heaviest of your group is, I mean 10 of that person specifically. Like
Well, they're probably at the bottom and they're half plate. So
yeah, that I was about to say. Like, it would be 10 Tormains could probably get down this rope.
Okay, then I will also start descending.
Okay. And if you wish to dash, you'd be right above Ronnie. If you wish to just go at normal, okay. And then with the pacing that we have there, Arya, when it gets your turn, if you descend and Termain's, well, the other two are still blocking, you'll just need to move your move to get to directly on top of their heads.
Okay.
Well, it's not your turn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, when it comes to it,
Got it.
just letting you
Got it,
understand the positioning. They're going to fire 2 arrows up at the... actually, they're going to fire 4 arrows total up at the knight. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I believe the only one that hits is the 21. So they fire upwards, and they are firing with quick volleys. It's very precise. One kind of hits the rock beneath your foot. You kind of look down at it. The next one kind of goes a bit wide and doesn't even enter the hole. Same is true of the next one. But this last one comes up and kind of catches you in the thigh or shin. And you take 4 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
As you stare down at them, you'll note that they probably don't have an infinite number of arrows. They might have 16 more apiece.
16 more. That's a lot.
Termain, you're up.
Yep. He would continue down as far as he can the rope.
Okay, if you're just dashing straight down the rope, at this point I'll need an athletics check because you're coming out of the hole and descending into open space. You're descending
Sure,
down a rope.
I rolled a 12.
12 is sufficient, but you will not be able to take the dash action. So you'll descend 20 feet, should be about half your speed. So you are now 80 feet above the ground / the opening of the spike pit. You'll also notice that as you're descending, the counterweight of the people directly above you inside of the barrel is creating a sway. So what is happening is you're swaying like a good 5 feet, from 5 feet to 5 feet in your space.
I think that's awesome because it'll make me a harder target to hit. That's my logic.
Yeah, I am definitely putting it into account because again, they had advantage when they were shooting at you there. They have effectively a penalty as well now. Okay, Arya.
I want to climb down as far as I can. I guess directly over Salt.
Brunlock cuts the rope.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Brunlock cuts the rope.
Who?
All right,
Wait,
well,
really?
we're gonna go ahead and start with a new grave on Friday. No.
Wait, who cut the rope? Oh, Grandma cuts the
No,
rope. Okay.
Brunlock.
Brunlock.
Oh,
Brunlock.
Brunlock!
The apple
What?
guy?
The apple
They
guy?
fell for it. My plan.
After I was petting the donkey?
Oh,
No.
I was
get rid
doing
of
a bit.
all of us.
I was just joking. It was just a bit.
Okay.
I'd survive.
You
So
descend
I'm
down,
like-
gesture move to get directly above Soul.
Uh-huh. Can I view any enemy?
No, because you're staring down
Okay.
a little less than half the barrel, and they are kind of off to the sides.
Okay.
Okay, Ronnie, your brother has freed up the space for you to descend, but only 20 more feet, so just half your speed. So
Mhm.
you'll need to make an athletics check for similar reasons.
Well, we know how well that went last time.
Okay. So you failed by more than 4. Do
Cool.
you wish to spend inspiration, or is there anything that you wish to do here at this point?
I don't have inspiration.
Anybody in the group?
Oh, I do. I'll give it.
Okay.
So just roll it again.
Yep. You did not fail
9.
by. You did not fail by 4. So instead of what happens in this moment is you kind of start to climb, and once you kind of get out into the open, you kind of panic. You know, have you ever tried to like crawl across like a beam or like
Yeah.
or climb a rope?
It's just me
It's a
playing
panic.
Elden Ring, and we're in the jumping areas, and I'm and
Block
and
frozen.
my heart's in my stomach. I
Tormain,
want to throw up.
you kind of are descending and kind of doing so at a decent pace. But what you realize is that Ronnie's not coming. It looks like she's kind of having a panic. I'm not saying like she's frightened or anything. I'm just saying it looks like she's kind of not moving with like
I would say you
determined.
could do it, Ronnie. You could do it.
Soul, you're up. There's a Ronnie in the way.
And from this point, I still can't see anything.
Correct.
I will descend to slightly above Ronnie.
Okay. Yeah, you were
Riveting
that's,
action.
That's where you started, so you didn't move at all. If you'd like
I
to
got
try
a
and
roll.
if you'd like to try and bypass Ronnie, you can. It'd just be an athletics check.
Feel like it's going to be a substantial one.
It's a little bit higher than the 10 we're currently working with, but yeah.
Those are not great odds for me, so I'm going to say hard pass.
Okay. The whites will continue firing at the paladin. As mentioned, they still have advantage on you because you're kind of just, up in the air like a pinata. But because you're swaying, they'll have a -2, or you'll have an effective +2 to your AC cover. Here we go. Okay, so all of them but one will miss, but the one that did get through was a natural 20. So,
Ouchie, ouchies.
and I get the greatest fucking rolls on that. It'll be a total of 7 piercing damage.
Oh boy.
2d8 for the crit. I rolled a 2 and a 1.
Okay.
Wow.
What are they, me?
No, sorry, I rolled a 4 and a 1. I don't know how to math good. Okay.
You said you did 5 damage?
7.
Or 7 damage, okay. Okay. Ouch.
Okay. That is them. Termaine, you are up again. You are 80 feet off of the ground. slash
dash
spikes.
down. Dash
Okay.
down.
Athletics check.
Come on, man. This is getting painful. Come on. Anybody have inspiration? I'd love to do it again.
I'm sorry.
Nobody?
Yeah, sure. I'll use my lovely human inspiration.
14.
Okay. You descend down 40 feet.
Thank you, Soul.
So you are now
Dom.
40 feet off of the ground and 40 feet above the spikes. Okay.
Okay.
Arya?
Are you at the bottom of the rope?
No.
40 feet.
Oh, you still have 40 feet more of rope beneath you.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
this really sucks. I'm pincushion, basically. Yeah. Good stuff.
Can I?
Oh, and the rope is still swaying, by the way.
Is there any chance that that Tremaine that Tremaine is within 30 feet of me?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Tremaine is...
Then
Because Ronnie has basically blocked traffic, Tremaine is 60 feet down the rope from the opening, and you are 15 feet above the opening.
I'm 15 feet above the opening.
Yep. And I'm going to shift this little positioning that we've got going on here just so we have it. So Ronnie is blocking traffic at the hole at the top.
Okay.
And then Soul is right behind her, not willing to take the risk to jump past her to grab the rope beneath her. And then you are above Soul. This is wonderful, by the way.
I mean, I kind of okay.
It's not wonderful.
Well,
I
think
kind of
of,
want to
again. I
try
want
something.
to make sure that you guys are understanding what I'm doing here. I want to make sure that you guys are taking into account a lot of things that are happening here. I have given you a very detailed description of what the room looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think inside of the bounds of the character sheet. Try and think outside of the bounds of the character sheet. Oh, also the rope is still swaying, Tremaine, so you're kind of like just bobbing out there.
Okay.
It's not your turn. But Arya, what do we do?
I want to use Misty Step
Okay.
to get down past Ronnie.
Okay. Because the rope is swaying, you'll need to make an athletics check to determine if you can grab the rope when you reappear.
Okay.
I believe in you.
This will also be...
Would I have to do that anyway? Would I have to
Well,
do that anyway if
Once you
without?
start climbing, these will be separate. But because you're effectively rolling one athletics check for the turn, the harder of the two tasks isn't climbing down, it's reappearing and grabbing the rope. So if you can hit that DC, you got all the ones below that and you can climb for the turn. Totally chill.
All right. I mean, if I die, I die. Whatever. Let me roll my athletics
Okay.
check. So, this is my feet.
Mhm.
Would I be appearing within 10 feet of Ronnie?
You'll be descending...
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, if you're descending the full 30, yeah, you're 15 feet below Ronnie.
Okay, so immediately as I appear at like beneath her, I will gain 10 hit points,
Yeah,
and then I will roll my athletics.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Did you have
Shit.
disadvantage?
I left it on disadvantage. No.
Okay, if you didn't have disadvantage, 20 is what you got.
Can I keep that 20?
Yeah, so you appear.
Okay.
You're a bit farther away from the rope than you anticipated because of the sway, but you reach out with one hand and grab a hold of it. And the second you do, it kind of bobs Tremaine inwards, and you kind of grasp it with your feet, like pressing your shoe soles together. And as you've got it like that, you grab it with your final hand and kind of lock in as the magic sways away from your hand from the step of the Fae.
The way that the Misty Step looks, so really quick, just like it looks like suddenly there's just like mud dripping on the rope, and then it
Just kind of
like
cascades down and then like reforms.
right, and then
Got
it
it.
reforms.
Yeah, so you're kind of, because of that,
Okay.
because gravity, like the mud reforms with you kind of out in the air, and so you're kind of
Right,
reaching
right.
out and grabbing the rope and dragging it back to you. You can then descend your speed twice if you dash. So you can be right on top of Tormain again.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. What you'll both notice is that the sway between the two of you is causing you to kind of bob towards the edge of each side of the pit. So at every single like kind of access point, you're at one other end of the pit than the other. You feel like with the amount of torque here, if you were really to apply it, you could shift yourself to one of the walls if you wanted to.
Okay.
Ronnie,
And the walls in which there are the
see, now you're cooking with gas. Now you- yeah, absolutely. There, every 5 feet in the middle of each of
Right.
the walls, there
Yeah,
is
man.
the alcoves.
Okay.
So they wouldn't be good for climbing up, but they would be easy enough to descend down.
Okay.
So Ronnie, you are up at the top. You watch as Arya kind of just bling, and then descends down after your brother. You're still kind of locked there looking down. You look up at Soul, and I'm assuming, just based on Tom's face, there's kind of like a, okay. Yeah, so you died,
Yeah.
okay? Whatever.
Get over
We've all
it.
been
That was
through a lot,
yesterday.
okay?
Swear to God, if I kill you 2 sessions in a row, I'm gonna cry laughing.
Make it up for
Just
lost
scrap
time.
her. Just scrap her.
Like, oh, I
Oh
died
my
of a
god!
fall.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're like, oh, I died of a fall. You know what'd be great? Let's go into a well.
Oh no! You're pulling a Brent,
I am pulling a friend.
Oh well.
Next
falling to
next
your
I
death
get-
again and again.
I mean, I did say it was only 150 feet this time.
Yeah.
It's true.
So if you wish to
Um,
descend, you can.
Yeah.
The sway of the
Those
rope below.
alcoves aren't by me yet,
No.
right?
No, they are
Okay,
at the.
they're further down.
So basically, you're coming into the space at the center of the room. The alcoves are here, 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 and here.
Okay.
So you'd have to swing out to them to get to them.
Right. So I guess I'll keep trying to go down.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check.
Athletics.
Okay. No chance of rerolls, right?
What?
Oh my god!
No chance of rerolls, right?
I hate this.
I just want to confirm. No chance of rerolls?
I have no
Okay.
inspiration.
I don't have
Arya?
inspiration either.
Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, good gravy. Okay. Well, maybe. Oh no, this is not gonna be good.
Mom's gonna be so mad.
Okay.
11.
So with an
It's
11,
happening
you
again.
very quickly come to a reflexive state and realize that Ronnie falls directly above you. As she's descending, you have 2 options. You can catch her, which will inflict some of the fall damage that she is going to take from that fall onto you, but will stop her with you. Or you can move out of the way and let her hit Termaine.
Move out of the way.
No. I'll. Well, because I'm still in the. Am I still in the funnel of the
No,
thing?
you are out of the funnel. Funnel was 50, or
Oh.
yeah, you entered into the swaying portion. We are above the pit.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to help my friend. I don't want my friend
Oh,
to fucking
okay.
die.
Okay, so
I was gonna
Ronnie,
do it. That's okay.
you are at the
Great.
barrel. We are 40 feet above, which means that's a 60-foot fall. I'm gonna have you pick, or you basically determine the damage here. So go ahead and roll 6d10.
Oh my god, Ronnie. Jesus Christ.
Suddenly I'm regretting this.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
36 half is 18. So you take 18 points of damage, Arya, and you take 18 points of damage, Ronnie, as you hit. Tormain, I need you to make a strength athletics check.
Okay. 21.
Okay. Using the force using the force of their fall and the impact, I will allow you to shift the rope in one direction or the other. North, south, east, or west. Do you
So
wish
can you explain exactly what's happening though? So Rani falls on top of Arya,
Hold on.
and then that's
This
it.
is easy.
Arya.
Okay. They
they stop at that
is
position?
this registering?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can see it, right? So
yeah.
impact And because of the impact, the force of the impact is going to cause a sway, which is basically an internal sway here. But what I'm allowing you to do with that athletics check is seeing the impact coming, is you can instead force it into a specific direction. So you can go where you want with the rope sway
But what would
instead
happen
of
to
spiraling.
right? But what would happen to Arya and Ronnie?
Oh,
with
they're
that
fine.
situation?
They're fine.
I stopped the
Arya's locked in.
momentum.
I just don't want them to-
Orcans, the
Okay, I
Warlock
wanna make things
Orcans
worse.
are
But if that's
locked
the
on
case,
that rope. And then
if I
one
was in
said,
command- okay,
Snatch.
yeah, nothing's happening with them. What you're concerned about here is the momentum that has thus been given to you is going to do one of two things. And because you made that athletics check, it's going to do what you want it to. The thing that you didn't want it to do was this. Because the second you start spiraling out of control on this rope, you are going to start making constitution saving throws to see if you vomit or not. And that's Tuesday
that's
games.
fine. I was
purview.
more worried about Randy falling down and dying.
She's fine.
Oh, okay.
Arya saved her life.
Great.
What you are determining at this point is you are basically changing the momentum and pushing it
Yep.
into one or the other direction. Which
So I'm
direction
gonna-
would you like to go?
So which of the directions am I?
North, east,
you-
south, or west?
Oh, okay. How about we go directly west?
Okay, so during this next portion, the rope will be put to here, which means that if you wish, you can let go of the rope and fly off of it. But once the initiative roll comes back to the bottom, the rope will then start making its way across the room to the other side. Okay? The pendulum effect.
If I hold onto the rope while I'm
We'll discuss it when it comes to your turn. So, Ronnie, you're done. Sully,
Okay,
you're up.
okay.
You're the only
All right.
one who is still way up above. Do you wish to descend, or do you wish to remain where you're at?
How
can get-
far down?
If you descend a little bit further, you can get down to the basin where you'll be able to see the shadows of them, but because they are kind of in darkness and you do not have low light vision, you're looking at shadows, so you'll have disadvantage when you fire at them.
How far down are Ronnie and Arya from me at this point?
Oh, great question. If you descend your speed, just your speed, you'll be at the mouth, which means that they'll be 60 feet below you.
Okay, that is exactly how far I would like to descend.
Okay. Well, yeah, again, you'll be able to descend because you have to get to the hole first because you're right above Ronnie, actually. So you can get directly above them. Yeah. So if you dash, make an athletics check.
I do not wish to dash. I just
Oh.
want to get within. I want to get within a certain range of them so I
Okay.
can use healing word on
You
somebody
get within
that's
60.
almost dead.
You can throw healing words. Yes. Sorry. I was
yeah.
misunderstanding what you were saying to me.
I guess Arya.
Okay.
Ah, thank you.
7 back for Arya. And then do you want to use your action to take the dodge action or to descend further?
Yes, the
Dodge
dodge
action.
action.
Okay. So you are just below the mouth of it. So you're kind of getting the pendulum sway, but you're basically kind of creating a counterbalance there. The whites will fire. They are going to shoot at Tormain. They've picked a target. Same situation as before. 3 misses and a crit.
Okey-dokey.
This time a bit more damage on the crit, though. It's going to be a total of 11 damage for the crit.
Yeah, he's really hurting at this point. Only got a few hit points left.
Termaine, you are up. So if you wish, as a part of your movement, can leave the rope and move towards the wall. Then you'll make an athletics check to climb and descend down. If you wish to stay on the rope, you can, but at initiative 0, you will be forced to move.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get off the rope. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll get off the rope.
So I'm going to go ahead and place Arya in your place, and then I'm going to move you onto the wall. Okay?
Okay.
So you leap off, now make an athletics check. Okay.
10.
Easy enough. You grapple on, and you can descend down 20 feet if you wish to. And if you'd like, as you're doing that, you can bonus action lay on hands.
That's what I was gonna do actually. Yeah. So so I'm then down. So there's how many feet left? 20.
Yeah, so if you dash, you can be on the ground.
Okay. If I dash, I could be on the ground. Okay, great. Plus 15 is 21. Okay, cool.
All
On the
right.
ground.
Okay. Arya, you are the last one who gets the opportunity to leap. You see Tormain do it. You feel like if you were to do it right behind him, you'd be able to kind of hit the spot directly above him and then descend down just after him.
And this would take my move and an athletics
It's
check.
just a part of your movement, and then athletics check to determine whether when you kind of hit the stone, whether you can hold and climb, or whether you hit and fall, or whether you hit and just remain there, depending on how much you fail by.
How much is it? How far is it to the ground?
For you, it'll be a total of 45 feet, which will be 5d10 on the roll for falling. But you won't be above spikes, so that's beneficial.
Okay. If I get to the very bottom of the rope, how high off the ground am I? How far is the closest ground to
Oh,
me?
it's basically dragging. Like, when it comes over the spikes, it's actually touching.
I mean, I'm kind of like fake crazy right now with this like subclass. I mean, if I could just get to the bottom of the rope and then Misty step onto a safe space, could I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I would rather do that than
So
fuck
you'll
with
still
an
need to make a
athletics
strength
check.
athletics check. I'm letting you know that. I'm just letting you know from a mechanical position.
Okay.
Jumping,
Uh-huh.
it's a DC 10. Descending the rope in its current swinging pattern is a DC 15.
Oh, that takes an athletics check. Okay.
Yeah, you're trying to descend.
I understand now. Okay. I'll risk it with the jump
Go ahead
to
and make an
the
athletics check.
Okay.
You nail it.
16.
You descend down a few feet, and then you can, as a bonus action, teleport and still have your action on the ground. And I would say from that vantage point, you can be anywhere within 15 feet of where Tormain is currently located. This is taking into effect diagonal trajectories.
Okay, so I'm going to I can land next to
You can be anywhere within
Tormain?
15 feet of Tormain if you want. So you could be further north, towards the corner. You could be out further and out, or you could just be right where you're at. That's fine too.
Let me Okay, so I land here
So
and
you land
I'm going
on the
to
wall, and then
on the wall
descend a little bit,
and then descend.
teleport down is what you said.
Right.
Or you could just take the dash action and descend and land right there.
I don't want to use dash.
Okay, so then you are face stepping or step of the Fae.
Steps of the Fae, and I will use my refreshing step to award
Termain's
1d10 temporary hit point. Oh, I didn't realize this 1d10. Okay, so let me do 1d10.
Yeah, roll it for both of you because you said you had 10 before. So just
Yeah.
to make sure you have the right amount.
What's happening?
Okay.
Okay,
So, Arya,
so-
you have 4, and
Mhm.
Tormain has 3 because 4 was the roll for the first step, which would have been
I'm going to be
awarded
6 down.
to you. Did you take damage after you gained it?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'd be 6 down.
Yeah.
And then you'll have 3 now because you just refreshed the amount that would have been lost. Got it.
Well, I'm giving that to Termain.
Is it only one of you or is it both?
I think it's either or.
Let's read it. Refreshing step immediately after you teleport you or one creature. Okay, so Tormain's getting it. 3 temp hit points for you, Tormain.
Love that. Thank you.
Stop it.
Mhm. Okay, so
Bad.
that was my bonus. That was my move. I still have a so I'm going to give you a kind of like this prayerful touch, Termain, and you're gonna feel this like sharp pain in your on your tongue as you get protection from evil and good. So they'll have disadvantage against you,
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
and that's my turn.
At the end of the initiative, the rope sways back the other way. Arya, you are still on the rope. You do not need to roll anything to functionally hold on to the rope. You're already locked in.
Okay.
However, sorry, not Arya, Ronnie. And so, Ronnie, as the rope sways back, I would like for you to decide one of two things. Either staying on the rope, or you can make an acrobatics check to leap from the rope nobly onto the grips on the wall.
Yes.
Okay. Make an acrobatics check.
Come on, Randy. Come on.
Okay.
Yes.
18.
So with that roll, you'll be able to do it at a point where you are basically being vaulted from the rope at a lower position than what you would have had at the apex of the tilt. Okay? So what that means is instead of landing 45 to 50 feet up on those registers, you're landing 25 feet on the crypts. So you're basically being thrown at the wall, but not against your will.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like doing a flip in the air and landing on the crypt and kind of catching it. You still have your movement. If you wish to descend, it'll be an athletics check, but you're only 25 feet off the ground. Baby cat!
Let him.
No. He just
Oh.
he just almost broke my computer setup. Not happening.
Oh no. Okay, don't let him print.
You cannot let this cat do what he wants, you guys. You gotta stop. You gotta stop advocating for the tyranny. He almost shut off my TV.
Oh no. um. So are the crypts? They're not something that I could like stand on, right?
No, you're basically
Okay.
they're probably about 4 feet high and about like 5 feet wide. And so when you're kind of hitting against them, you're kind of catching them with your hands and you're like maybe a knee. And so like at that point you're just kind of descending from one crypt which is about 5 feet below. Like you know those parkour videos where people are like on the hotel balconies and they kind of drop
Yeah.
down? It's like that shit.
Okay. Then I'll go ahead and try and descend.
Okay. Go ahead and make an athletics check. DC 10.
And can I say that I'm going slow? A little bit more
If you want to use your
careful?
action to move cautiously, I'll say that you're doing so with advantage, so you can roll an advantage roll. I'll be more than fair.
Okay. Because she's a little bit more cautious. at
Also,
this
keep in
point.
mind, from your position, like, the white that's on the ground is not looking at you. If you wish to
Yeah.
just stay up there, you could do that. Take the dodge action and kind of try and bolster yourself. So you have disadvantage, but they have advantage on attack rolls against you because of your weird climbing position. But then they would have disadvantage against you because you're kind of trying to curl yourself up and hide.
Right. But I also wouldn't be able to attack them.
Right. But if you get down there, they're going to have you in melee range, is what I'm saying.
Mm,
Yeah, because
that's fair.
you're effectively here 25 feet off the ground, or 20 feet off the ground. So if you wish to descend and engage them, you can. I'm just letting you know that they do look like they have swords on them.
I think I'll stay up here.
Okay. And you want to take the dodge action?
Yeah.
Better part of Valor. It's okay. Honestly, absolutely cool. So, you are still, I would say, about 80 feet off the ground. So you are 60 feet above Ronnie, and you are 80 feet above the other two. Ronnie looks pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We'll throw a healing word that direction.
Okay. 8 hit points back, Ronnie.
Shit. Hell yeah.
I'll take it.
Feeling great now.
This is way better than last
And then-
time.
Move down carefully, given what I have seen occur.
So the rope is swaying pretty heavily, so I need you to make an athletics check. But you are the counterbalance, so it's not as high a DC as it would be for them. Do you have anything that offsets that?
I did say I was moving carefully.
Okay, then roll with advantage. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So it's still not great. I would say that you don't really gain any ground down. DC for the current swaying rope is 15.
I am basically stuck here then.
Well, we'll get to that here in a second. So with that, the whites will go. You see them both shove their bows into their sheaths. You'll see, now that you're up close with them, Termaine, that the bow that he is holstering is an elvish bow. And as he does so, you watch as he quickly draws a elvish thin blade from its sheath and rushes towards you. The same is true of the other side, as he does a circuit of the space and moves towards Arya. Both whites come at you
Whoa!
with weapons. Against you, Tormain, the first sword attack will miss, and then it rushes forward with its hand to try and touch you. 21, I think hits.
It does.
Okay, make a Constitution saving throw, and take 4 necrotic damage.
This is lame because it's right before I'm able to put Shield of Faith on myself. 20.
Success. So the effect, you feel it drain life from you, but you resist it with your paladin power. What you would know, being kind of subtly aware of undead, whites can drain life. It means it would have reduced your hit points by the amount of damage it just dealt to you, and if it ever reduces your life to equal your max hit points, you die for just death.
Yeah.
For you, Arya, 2 sword attacks.
Oh no,
Recommend
Arya.
it.
Both of those will hit.
Shit.
5 damage for the first one, and 7 for the second.
Oh man.
Baby cat.
I'm gonna climb back up the rope. I'm gonna go get Slayer. Y'all be good down there for a little while.
Whoa, who's this guy?
Termaine. Sorry, I'm really mad at my cat right now. He's being a demon.
That makes sense.
He's trying to knock my magic card decks over onto my computer. And then he was slamming his foot down on my remote, and he almost set it so that my main screen went onto pixel restoration.
Play his bird videos.
I don't know how he got it to pixel restoration with a single touch, or I must not have seen what he did, because I had to find that mode. It took so
He's a
long.
menace.
A bad boy.
Termaine.
A bad boy. Yeah, Shield of Faith as
Mhm.
a bonus action. He's going to use his longsword and smacky smack. 15 to hit. Hopefully that hits. We're gonna do 9 slashing damage, and we're going to use Divine Strike. Is that
Okay.
a thing? I think I have a Divine Smite, which I could use, right?
Is your weapon made out of silver?
And
It is
it
not,
is
right?
the magical weapon though.
That
Tell
doesn't
me
matter.
what
Do you
is it?
remember, for
Plus
our
1
setting,
Longsword.
if it's a
Yeah.
metal specific, magic weapon does not overcome it. So the slashing damage doesn't look like it does much, but you're doing 9 points of radiant damage as well,
But it actually increases by another D8 if it's undead. So
which
I'm
it
gonna
is.
roll 1d8. So it's another 6.
All right. So
And then remember that it puts the sap weapon mastery on it, right? Is that right? Sap?
longsword, I think, is vexing. Hold on.
It's sap.
Is it?
Disadvantage on its next attack. It's right there.
Okay.
So I've done 24 damage, and it has disadvantage.
Okay.
And I've just blown through 2 spell slots.
Why is this taking forever to load?
This seems like a good moment to remind everyone that they have healing potions.
Mhm.
Okay, so do you
Both
remember
elves
how
got
many?
2. Arya and Soul got 1.
Who's got 2?
You and Ronnie.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's amazing.
Pretty.
Thank you.
pretty.
Just being as helpful as I can from 600 miles above the Earth's surface right now.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. He's using it. Okay. I'm sorry. I got a bit confused because Jonah, I thought, was using a longsword in the Saturday or the Sunday games, and they didn't sap, so I got confused. I thought it was Vex, but it's not. Okay, cool. Sap, it
Okay.
is. Termaine, that's it?
That's all the things.
Okay. Arya.
Okay. I am going to.
Disengage is always a thing, Arya.
that is something for people who are not spellcasters. So, I am going to
That's for bitches, not witches.
exactly.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a. I don't know. I'm really addicted to doing this, so I am just gonna do it again. I'm going to use my
Base step. That's how many of those do you get? 2 or
I get 4,
okay.
Nice.
What's it based off
and
of? Steps of the way.
equal to a charisma modifier,
Cool.
and
Very
then
cool.
so I have 1 left.
That's right.
So let me roll my RD10. I'm gonna gain 4 temp. Okay, that's bonus. Now I'm going to use my action to use a stealth slot, and I'm going to cast Bitter Chains at the one closer to.
The one closer to Tremaine.
Well, oh yeah, because Soul's not there. Yeah, the one closer to Tremaine.
Soul's up in a row.
Does a 12 hit their AC?
It does not.
Shit. Fuck my stupid life.
Okay.
Okay, that's my turn.
Sure. Okay, so at the end of the initiative, Soul, what you'll notice is not that there is no weight on the bottom of the rope, it falls inert basically underneath you, and your counterweighting has caused it to become straight again. As you remember, athletics check DC 10 now, instead of all this shit. But we go to Ronnie. You are 25 feet up, or 20 feet up. You look down. You see that the white that was beneath you is no longer there. As you're kind of like, please, 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 don't shoot, don't shoot. Oh, that felt great. Oh no. And now, if you wish to descend, you can make an athletics check, DC 10, to descend down the rock. Do not do a bad thing.
Why not?
Shiro,
Myself.
don't do bad stuff. You're fine. You make it down. You can place
16.
yourself in either one of those 2 squares that you're kind of on
I
top of.
also need to switch that back to automatic. I'll go ahead and go there.
Draw your bow.
Yeah.
And which one would you like to shoot?
This one.
Okay.
Open. There.
Damn, he talking
23?
back too.
Oh,
Ooh.
oops. I wasted one.
No.
Oh shit.
I only
Okay.
have 1 attack. 23. Does that hit?
23 will hit.
7.
Okay. And your arrows are not made out of silver, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you'll notice that it isn't as effective as you'd hope.
Yeah.
Okay, it'll go to Soul.
How far up am I now?
You are still 80 feet up. You didn't move at all last time.
I will continue descending carefully as my action.
Okay, go ahead and roll with advantage. Okay, you descend another 20 feet. Now, I will note that you are descending faster than you would ascend, which is why it's half plus 5 is what I've been doing, just so we understand how that math works. And I know that the elves have 35-foot movement, but half of 35 is still 15, so just keep that in mind on descending. Descending, you're going faster because gravity's helping.
So,
You're 60 feet off the ground. You can target anybody on the field with your healing word if you wish. But that was your action to do that. So
who's looking bad?
Arya's the most messed up, but she looks like she has some weird magic mud on her.
Is Randy hurt?
Fine.
I'm fine. I mean, I'm down like 8, which is not to save it.
Okay, I will not use a bonus action.
Okay. They will go. So, this one will attack Termaine.
Oh, remember, I have protection from good and evil on turn name. Just
Right, and also
Disadvantage.
disadvantage from sap. So double
So-
disadvantage. I know that's not a thing, but
Yeah. Well, it's disadvantage on both attacks is the important thing from
I
the
see.
protection. So
22 AC.
yeah, he's gonna switch to a two-handed grip on the blade, and with disadvantage. No and no. Okay. Cool. Then this one will move here and then start moving this way. Tormain, go ahead and make an opportunity attack if you wish.
Oh,
I'll explain
Yeah,
what happens narratively
absolutely.
after the attack is made.
sure. 16 to hit,
Okay, that'll work.
10 damage,
You wish to
and
smite?
then it also imposes the sap.
Yeah, which means he has disadvantage. But
Yep.
do you wish to smite or no? Actually, I don't know if you can
it's-
in New Smite.
I don't know if I can. I mean, I that doesn't that take a spell bonus
Yeah,
action?
I don't think you can
I've
in
already
new
used my
edition.
bonus action because
Yeah.
it's not my turn.
Right. Okay, so what you watch as it kind of moves towards the lip of the pit, it takes the thin blade and puts it into its mouth, biting down on the flat of the blade, and then reaches its hand out and grabs a hold of the top of the spike, and then pulls itself out over the pit, grabbing the next bit, and then just charging across like a spider on the
Oh, man,
tops of the
that's-
spikes as it makes
that's
its way
horrifying.
across and then jumps onto the pit side, grabbing the thin blade as it's kind of flying in the air and bringing it down on Arya. Again, with disadvantage, because sap.
not that I
10 still hits. Right?
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
So,
I forgot to cast Mage Armor. Anyway, ahead.
no worries. It's going to do 5 points of damage. So, temp HP down, you should have 2 hit points left, is what I'm mathing.
I'm at 2.
Okay. Termaine, you are up.
Yeah. We're just gonna continue going ham on this one. 15 to hit,
Works.
6 damage, plus we're gonna burn another Divine Smite.
Okay.
Or I'm just gonna roll this one, 3d8 for 16. Good damage.
As you kind of bring your blade down over your shield after blocking the last 2 attacks, you watch as it pulses with a light green natural burst and throws his body back a bit, kind of sliding across the floor.
And then I'm gonna position myself here. Hopefully it'll attack me rather than Arya.
You rush around the edge of the pit and make your way to the Arya side, bringing your sword and shield up. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like the white's focus changes. Arya, you're up.
Right. I'm gonna cast cantrip. I'll cast Mortal Coil.
Okay.
He needs to make a strength save. DC 14.
Okay. Shouldn't have had disadvantage on that, but yeah, 19 will be fine.
Okay, so he makes it.
Yep.
Okay, then I'm going to just
Also,
do what I
as you-
do. What?
As you cast a spell and the necrotic energy starts to form around it,
Mhm.
Termaine, you would notice that necrotic energy is forming around it through the spell that Arya just cast, which again, not a moral quandary here. We're not saying that they're evil, right? What we're saying is that they're using a specific damage type, which Termaine would recognize is not going to be effective against this creature.
You're gonna make it stronger, maybe?
Don't use necromancy.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
It's undead.
I think Mortal Coil does necrotic damage, does it not?
It does. I was just trying to shove the fuck out of it. So I'm gonna Misty Step
Last one.
all the way over here.
Okay.
That's the last one.
Smart.
I'm gonna give myself 8 temp HP.
Must be all
Ronnie.
that displacer beast.
Okay, so that was my bonus. That was my action.
And
I
so move.
I got nowhere to move, so that's my turn.
Ronnie, you're up. Bow out, shooting the thing in the head.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna move back a little bit though,
sure.
and then shoot it. $17.
Hit.
Let's go. 7.
All right. Yeah, again, not as effective as you'd hoped, but damage is damage. Okay. So you're 40 feet up.
First off, healing word on Arya.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, nice.
Let's see here. Can I try Sacred Flame on that
Yeah.
white down there? All right,
Absolutely.
let's.
Okay. Damage. Pulse of light kind of just drops from the ceiling. Boom! Slams into the white. There's a pulse, and it kind of turns its head back over its shoulder, looking up at Soul. Which, again, will move you onto the map so you're not confusing people. But yeah, you're out over the pit. Okay. Alright, it'll go to the white. So Tormain is the problem. We're gonna go ahead and swing. We have disadvantage. We're gonna do it one-handed. We're gonna miss, and then we're going to attempt to touch you. And we'll miss at that as well. 2 swings, 2 misses. Tormain, you're up.
Gonna also swing. Okay. Combat. Longsword. $16 to hit for 7 damage. No, I'm out of spell slots. No more smite.
Okay. Tremaine done. Arya up.
I'm just gonna actually move like this. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I am spell slots, so we're just gonna do what we like to do, which is throw Eldritch Blast. It's a fumble.
And you're casting through a focus, right?
Yeah, which is already damaged.
Roll a d20.
14.
It doesn't break any further. It still stays. It maintains its condition. Ronnie, you're up.
We're gonna do a
Oh, I
little
just
bit
realized
of
it's
the
10 o'clock.
same.
Sorry, folks.
It's 9:09.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of my times.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
I'm so sorry. I just got locked in.
We're
7 o'clock, we got plenty
gonna
of time.
focus up
Goblin Horde at
and
midnight.
Hunter's Market
Okay.
this time, and then we're gonna shoot it again. She's
Alright.
like staring it down now.
Focused. Yeah, that'll work.
25,
Damage.
11,
All right.
and then a d6, right?
Right.
3, so 14.
Okay.
Still
Yeah.
not silver, but
Right. A bunch more damage to have. So yeah, that's great. Soul, you're up.
Please die.
Sacred Flame. Roll damage. Not quite yet. Goes to it. I'm gonna go ahead and attack. And attack. Yeah, it's a miss. Okay, so
Please re-die.
Tremaine.
Yep. Smash.
I was gonna say
Damage.
pass, but
Okay.
9.
So as you bring your sword down and strike it in the shoulder, it cleaves into it, which is a decently mortal wound, but you see it resist against it, which you're kind of saddened by. But the stroke is enough to force it backwards. It loses its footing, and it falls back onto the spikes it just ran across and lands. And as it spikes onto them, it looks up at you, trying to reach out for you as its sword tumbles into the pit beneath it.
Okay.
The fight is concluded, and with that, we'll end this session. We will pick up
Okay.
right where we left off. I will be moving us to a neutral ground, but we will start right from there as you can continue to explore the dungeon, or based on the resources you expended.
And Soul get to the bottom before we're
Oh,
done, just
yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
hanging
yeah,
from
yeah.
a rope for a week.
Okay.
Once
yeah,
the
yeah.
rope is casual, you can kind of swing it up
Arms
to
to
Tremaine.
floor.
Tremaine can hold it, and you can just slide
Yeah.
down it. Yeah.
I don't do that much CrossFit.
Thanks for watching those that did. Sorry I went a little over, and we'll see you next Friday.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.